Chapter 286. Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu fell to the ground. Both of them were trembling. Rumble. Yin Chuan's army slowly entered the valley. Yin Chuan was the one who shouted stop. Sect Master, how are you? Third Martial Uncle, are you okay? Zhujiansheng and the 7 swordsmen helped the 2 injured men to their feet. Wei Jia and Wei Yi did not take Yin Chuan seriously at first, but gradually, Yin Chuan's followers increased, and some of them were recognized by the 2 of them. They came from various sects, and there were about 800 overlords standing not far behind Yin Chuan. 800 Qi state cultivators? Wei Jia and Wei Yi's expression changed. The overlords around the valley also frowned as they looked at the huge group of people. Guyu Holy Sun squinted his eyes and stared at Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan, how dare you come here? Wei Yi shouted. Yin Chuan looked at Wei Yi coldly, and then turned to Guyu Holy Sun. Guyu Holy Sun, we meet again. I hope I didn't disturb your mood. Yin Chuan said calmly. Mood? Humph. Guyu Holy Sun snorted. Mr. Monroe looked at them and shouted. Yin Chuan, Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu knew that the Holy Sun was looking for a place, but they did not say anything. They even threatened the Holy Sun. Hurry up and ask them to tell us the place, so that the Holy Sun can be lenient. Oh. Yin Chuan looked at Feng Tairan. He immediately understood everything. Yin Chuan, take your men and leave, Guyu Holy Sun said. Did you hear that? The Holy Sun asked you to scram. Wei Yi shouted. Yin Chuan smiled faintly and didn't back away. Instead he said, Guyu Holy Sun didn't make things difficult for me, because I helped Guyu Holy Sun destroy Yao Tianshang's sound disaster that day in Liangjing, right? Guyu Holy Sun's eyes turned cold. He suddenly felt that Yin Chuan did not know what was good for him. Humph. Yin Chuan, the Holy Sun has already given you the divine du rain that day. The Holy Sun doesn't owe you anything. If you don't scram, don't blame us for being impolite. Wei Qing shouted. Shut up. Yin Chuan glared at him. You. Wei Qing was scolded by Yin Chuan in front of thousands of cultivators. His face was filled with shame and anger. Guyu Holy Sun's victory against Yao Tianshang is only worth a bottle of divine du rain? Do you dare to say that Guyu Holy Sun's victory is only worth a bottle of divine du rain? Say it again in front of hundreds of cultivators. Yin Chuan shouted. Yin Chuan shouted again, and Wei Qing's face changed. How could the Holy Sun's victory be only worth a bottle of divine du rain? Who would dare to say that? Moreover, there were 800 cultivators behind Yin Chuan, and more than 100 sections. Today's matter couldn't be concealed. It would definitely spread. If he dared to say it, Guyu Holy Sun would be the first to chop him in half. You dare. Wei Qing was sweating profusely. You are the one who is bold. Guyu Holy Sun is talking to me. Who are you to interrupt? Can you decide everything on behalf of Guyu Holy Sun? Or did Guyu Holy Sun authorize you to be the spokesperson? Yin Chuan shouted. I didn't. Holy Sun, I just... Wei Qing immediately looked at Guyu Holy Sun, wanting to defend himself. Guyu Holy Sun wasn't stupid. He knew that Yin Chuan was blocking Wei Qing's mouth. He didn't care about Wei Qing. Of course, if Wei Qing didn't dare to speak, the others wouldn't ask for a rebuke. Suddenly, it became a clash between Yin Chuan and Guyu Holy Sun. The 800 cultivators who came with Yin Chuan all looked at Yin Chuan in shock. They didn't expect Yin Chuan to be so bold. Aren't you afraid of death? Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Not long ago, I helped Guyu Holy Sun. A just cause enjoys abundant support. An unjust cause finds little support. Guyu Holy Sun is a righteous person. Naturally, you won't make things difficult for someone who helped you just because of a whim. I didn't offend you, Yin Chuan said with a smile. A just cause enjoys abundant support. An unjust cause finds little support. Yin Chuan's meaning was clear. If you make things difficult for me, you will lose your morals. Moreover, you lost your morals in front of the people of the 100 sects, in front of the people of the world. An ungrateful person. Even if he was still the Holy Sun, he had lost the most important thing. Image, prestige, respect. Behind Guyu Holy Sun, Mr. Monroe took a deep breath. He looked at Yin Chuan in shock. This Yin Chuan was so amazing. With just a few words, he forced Guyu Holy Sun into a corner? I naturally won't make things difficult for you. But you are in my way, Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Chapter 287. Of course, I won't make things difficult for you. But you're in my way, Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. After Guyu Holy Sun finished speaking, Yin Chuan let out a sigh of relief. Just now, he was asking a tiger for its skin. After all, he was too weak and did not have the qualifications to talk to him. However, this time he succeeded. At least Guyu Holy Sun would not dare to attack him in front of everyone. Guyu Holy Sun, Yin Chuan does not dare to take credit for the help you provided in Liangjing. These two people are members of the Day sect. They owe you an answer. I'll let them give you an answer, and use the favor you provided in Liangjing in exchange for Guyu Holy Sun's forgiveness. Let's forget about today's matter, okay? Yin Chuan said again. Guyu Holy Sun narrowed his eyes and a murderous aura overflowed. In Guyu's eyes, forgiving Yin Chuan's offense was already a great favor. Yin Chuan actually dared to negotiate with him? Bastard you! Wei Chuan cursed again. Halfway through, he saw Yin Chuan's cold gaze and stopped. He looked at Guyu Holy Sun hopefully. Seeing that Guyu Holy Sun was not paying attention to him, he let out a sigh of relief and stopped talking. He only looked at Yin Chuan with a venomous gaze. You want me to let them go? Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Obviously, Guyu Holy Sun was still unwilling. Yin Chuan turned to look at Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu. The two of you, let me make the decision for you. What do you think? Yin Chuan looked at the two of them and said. Duan Sanshu looked at Yin Chuan curiously. Feng Tairan revealed a gratified smile. All right, I'll leave it to you, Feng Tairan said. And Duan Sanshu nodded. The two of them nodded. Yin Chuan's expression immediately turned solemn. Hua Guang, kill Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu for me. Yin Chuan pointed at Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu and shouted. What? Hua Guang was stunned. Not only was Hua Guang dumbfounded, but Zhu Jiansheng and the 7 swordsmen were also dumbfounded. The surrounding cultivators and countless experts were all dumbfounded. Just a moment ago, he was speaking up for Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu, and in the blink of an eye, he was going to kill them? You! Duan Sanshu glared at him. Full authority to make decisions? Did that mean that he would kill him? Duan Sanshu was so angry that he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Only Feng Tairan seemed to have understood. Ha 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 ha, kill them, kill them. It's better to die than to be tortured like this. Ha 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 ha. Feng Tairan laughed freely. Martial uncle, what are you doing? You can't kill the sect master. Zhu Jiansheng suddenly exclaimed. Xing! Xing! The 7 swordsmen also stood in front of Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu, looking at Yin Chuan with vigilance. They have agreed to let me handle them. You guys get out of the way. Hua Guang, kill them. Yin Chuan shouted. Zhu Jiansheng's 7 swordsmen listened to Yin Chuan. Feng Tairan ordered. Huh? Zhu Jiansheng and the 7 swordsmen were at a loss. The experts of the 100 sects all looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. Even Guyu Holy Sun's face changed slightly. Kill 2 people. Was this Yin Chuan crazy? Hua Guang stepped forward with his spear. Zhu Jiansheng and the 7 swordsmen were at a loss. Should they stop him? Crazy. Yin Chuan wanted to kill the sect master. But the sect master didn't let them save him and let him kill him? Crazy, are you all crazy, or am I crazy? Zhu Jiansheng and the 7 swordsmen's minds were in chaos. Stop! Guyu Holy Sun shouted angrily. Turning his head, Yin Chuan looked at Guyu Holy Sun again. These 2 people are the scum of my Day sect. At this moment, they have confessed to me and are ready to let me handle them. I want to kill them on the spot. Holy Sun, do you still want to plead for them? Yin Chuan stared at Guyu Holy Sun and said word by word. Chapter 288. The long spear had already reached their chests. As long as Yin Chuan gave the order again, Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu would immediately be beheaded. Guyu Holy Sun stared at Yin Chuan with a gloomy face. If it weren't for the people of 100 sects watching him, he would have reached out and pinched Yin Chuan to death. This was no longer a threat, but a coercion. Kill. If Yin Chuan killed the 2 of them, he would never know where the seal was, and Yao Tianshang would get it first. Guyu Holy Sun? Yin Chuan called out doubtfully again. Yin Chuan's doubts were like a sharp sword that had chosen Gu Yu Holy Sun's heart, forcing Gu Yu Holy Sun to do something. Countless practitioners around gradually understood Yin Chuan's meaning. Put death in a desperate situation and fight to live. Yin Chuan was using a roundabout method to save Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu. Well, according to what you said before, your past kindness is written off. Tell me the place I want. Gu Yu Holy Sun said coldly. This time, Gu Yu Holy Sun's heart was full of depression, as if he was forced to retreat by Yin Chuan in a confrontation with Yin Chuan. The surrounding cultivators also revealed surprised expressions. They didn't expect Gu Yu Holy Sun to actually let go. At this time, he really let go? Mr. Monroe looked at Yin Chuan in amazement. Although it was a short exchange, Yin Chuan's way of speaking was like a battle. First, he used kindness to build an immortal fortress for himself. Then he kept probing and attacking, slowly forcing Gu Yu Holy Sun into a corner. Finally, he attacked head-on, using his desire to force Gu Yu Holy Sun to bow. Although everyone had the same feeling, they didn't think it through as thoroughly as Mr. Monroe. In a short time, Yin Chuan's position in Mr. Monroe's heart rose rapidly. Everyone was surprised. Gu Yu Holy Sun compromised. Yin Chuan nodded and said, "Thank you, Gu Yu Holy Sun, for your help." Yin Chuan immediately looked at Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu. Feng Tairan's face revealed a gratified smile. Duan Sanshu also finally understood Yin Chuan's intentions, and a kind smile appeared on his face. Duan Sanshu pointed at a boulder not far away and said, "Go and lift that boulder." Boom! The three swordsmen quickly flipped over the boulder. Immediately, a leather scroll was revealed under the boulder. There was a map on the map. Duan Sanshu looked at Gu Yu Holy Sun and said, "The terrain is complicated in the depths of the Demon Wind Mountains. If you're not careful, you'll get lost. This is the map I recorded. The red dot on the map is the place you're looking for." Gu Yu Holy Sun looked at Duan Sanshu coldly. He reached out and grabbed the map. Whoosh! The map flew into Gu Yu Holy Sun's hand. He looked at the map carefully. "Don't worry, Gu Yu Holy Sun. If this map is fake, you can bury the Day sect with you at any time," Duan Sanshu said confidently. Gu Yu Holy Sun looked at Duan Sanshu below. His face darkened. "You wouldn't dare lie to me. If that's the case, then we'll take our leave." Yin Chuan smiled at Gu Yu Holy Sun. "Leave? You want to leave?" "Humph." Wei Yi suddenly snorted. "Alliance leader Wei, what do you mean? Gu Yu Holy Sun has agreed to let today's matter go. You want to go against Gu Yu Holy Sun's will? You want to frame the Holy Sun?" Yin Chuan said coldly. "Humph, the Holy Sun is the Holy Sun, and I am me. The Holy Sun agreed to let you go, but I didn't. My Life League has a grudge with the Day sect. This is a personal grudge. What do you think?" Wei Yi sneered. "You're shameless." Duan Sanshu cursed. Chapter 289. Yin Chuan looked at Gu Yu Holy Sun. Gu Yu Holy Sun looked on coldly without saying a word. "Gu Yu Holy Sun, don't you have anything to say?" Yin Chuan looked at Gu Yu Holy Sun and asked. "This is a private matter between the Day sect and the Life League. I won't interfere. The people I brought won't interfere either." Gu Yu Holy Sun said coldly. "Ha ha ha ha. Did you hear that? Yin Chuan, you only brought so few people from the Day sect this time. Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu are seriously injured. Let's see how you're going to escape today." Wei Chu laughed loudly. Wei Chu's arrogance made many people feel disgusted. The 800 experts who followed Yin Chuan didn't say anything earlier. However, when Yin Chuan and Gu Yu Holy Sun exchanged words, they felt very satisfied. They even put themselves in Yin Chuan's shoes, especially when Yin Chuan made Gu Yu Holy Sun lower his head. Although the experts' expressions didn't change, their hearts were surging. It was as if they had won against Gu Yu Holy Sun. Wei Chu's arrogance made everyone unhappy. However, no one spoke up to help. They could see that Wei Chu's arrogance was supported by Gu Yu Holy Sun. Although they felt satisfied, no one wanted to offend Gu Yu Holy Sun. They could only watch coldly. "Wait!" Yin Chuan shouted. "What? Any last words?" Wei Chu said coldly. "Bring them up." Yin Chuan shouted. The 3,000 embroidered uniform army members quickly carried out 14 cloth bags. It seemed like there were people twisting inside. When the cloth bags were opened, the 14 assassins were revealed. Alliance Master, save me, save me. Alliance Master, save me. Save me. The assassins were pleasantly surprised to see Wei Qin. A bunch of trash. Wei Qin said coldly. Alliance Master Wei, I don't want to fight to the death right now. What do you think? Yin Chuan said calmly. Wei Qi's eyes flickered with uncertainty. You want to use them to threaten me? You're still too inexperienced. Wei Qin's eyes turned cold. Yin Chuan immediately understood Wei Qin's intentions. Since you don't want to save them, then forget it. Kill. Yin Chuan shouted. Yes. SSSS. 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 The spears instantly pierced through the heads of the 14 assassins. Brat, you're courting death. Inside the canyon, Wei Jia and Wei Yi, who had been torturing Feng Tairan, flew into a rage. Let's fight. Disintegrating poison. Duan Sanshu's aura suddenly skyrocketed. He had stimulated the potential of his body by harming himself, erupting with an extraordinary strength. Hung, Duan Sanshu, Wei Jia, and Wei Yi began to fight. The powerful impact immediately set off gusts of wind. Dust and sand were blown up in all directions, and stones were sent flying everywhere. Wei Qin led the Life Alliance's people and coldly watched. Duan Sanshu's reckless fighting style was definitely short-lived. Wei Jia and Wei Yi were more than capable of dealing with him. Yin Chuan's group had to die today. However, wouldn't it be better for them to die in despair? How fierce! Yin Chuan smiled as he looked at Duan Sanshu. Zhu Jiansheng, the 7 swordsmen, and Feng Tairan all looked at Duan Sanshu anxiously and worriedly. Only Yin Chuan could still smile at this moment. Yin Chuan shook his head and walked towards Feng Tairan. At this moment, Yin Chuan was no longer worried. This was because Yin Chuan had just forced Guyu Holy Sun to say something. This is a private matter between the Day sect and the Life Alliance. I won't interfere. The others I brought with me won't interfere either. It seemed that Yin Chuan had asked for a rebuff and was humiliated. However, this was a promise that Yin Chuan needed. If Guyu Holy Sun didn't interfere, the others wouldn't interfere either. His opponents were only the Life Alliance's people. Yin Chuan walked towards Feng Tairan. Feng Tairan was still frowning. After all, in Feng Tairan's opinion, they were really done for. Here, the Life Alliance had 6,000 Essence Realm cultivators, 300 Qi Realm cultivators, and 5 God Realm cultivators. They couldn't compare at all. Old Feng. Yin Chuan walked in front of Feng Tairan. I've implicated you this time. Feng Tairan smiled bitterly. No, who said that we would definitely lose? Yin Chuan smiled. Seeing Yin Chuan's smile, Feng Tairan's expression changed. However, he looked at Yin Chuan in confusion. Old Duan won't be able to hold on for long. As for you, you definitely won't be able to do anything. However, you have a good foundation. Let me do it. Yin Chuan smiled. Oh. Feng Tairan didn't understand. Condense an essence clone for me to control. I'll deal with them. Yin Chuan smiled. What? Feng Tairan was shocked. Why? Are you worried that I'll control you? Haha, what's there to worry about? If you want to control me, then control me. Feng Tairan said casually. Yin Chuan nodded. He placed his finger between Feng Tairan's eyebrows, and the two closed their eyes. Buzz. A large amount of essence qi came out of Feng Tairan's pores. Traces of red essence qi gradually condensed into a figure that looked exactly like Feng Tairan. It was an essence clone. Feng Tairan's essence clone. However, Feng Tairan's eyes were different. It was Yin Chuan's overbearing eyes. Yin Chuan controlled Feng Tairan and reached out his hand to pull out the Jade Emperor sword from Yin Chuan's back. Hiss! Feng Tairan walked in front of everyone. The breeze blew his long hair. He looked at everyone from the Life Alliance with an arrogant expression. Chapter 290. Yin Chuan walked to the front, and many people looked at him curiously. The Essence Chi avatar was him, and no one could touch it. Who would give themselves to someone else as a puppet? Of course, it was reasonable. After all, it was normal for someone who was about to die to do something out of line. However, so what if an Essence State Warrior could control the Essence Chi avatar of an Immortal State Warrior? How powerful could it be? Boom! With a loud bang, Duan Sanshu fell to the ground like a meteor. Bang! Yinchuan reached out and caught Duan Sanshu. However, Duan Sanshu was covered in blood and looked like he was about to die. Third Uncle Master, Zhu Jiansheng, and the others quickly gathered around him. After throwing Duan Sanshu to the others, Yinchuan looked at Wei Jia and Wei Yi who were in the air. Ha 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 ha, Yinchuan? Wei Qin laughed madly. Your father is stupid. He knew that he would die if he stayed in the Dai sect. You are even more stupid than your father. Do you think you can defeat an immortal state warrior just because you have an essence chi avatar? Dream on. Wei Yi scolded. Alliance Master, let me crush this essence chi avatar. Ha ha ha. Wei Jia laughed. Whoosh! Wei Jia turned into a ray of light and rushed toward Yinchuan. Yinchuan looked at Wei Jia coldly and waved the Jade Emperor sword in his hand. Bang! The Jade Emperor sword suddenly exploded with hundreds of sword chi. The sword chi rushed out and immediately formed a sword river. With a wave of his sword, the sword chi turned into a river. Ah! Boom! Wei Jia was shocked and quickly attacked with his sword, but it was still blocked by Yinchuan. Wei Jia was too careless, but he couldn't lose so quickly. Those who didn't think Yinchuan would win suddenly became spirited. Wei Yi's face darkened, and Guyu Holy Sun looked gloomy. Is that all? Life League? Here I come. Yinchuan sneered. The tip of the Jade Emperor's sword was pressed against the ground. Yinchuan stepped forward and dragged his sword across the ground, leaving behind a sword mark that emitted an ear-piercing sound. Wei Jia's face humph. Wei Jia changed the Jade Emperor sword chi avatar, and Guyu Holy Sun. The sword techniques of the Life League are only Esazo. Yinchuan sneered. Buzz! Yinchuan's sword pierced out. As it pierced out, the Jade Emperor's sword trembled incessantly. Boom! The two swords as Wei Yichuan Wei Yi Wei. Then Wei Jia and Gu Wei Yichuan again. Impossible! Wei Jia unleashed his aura and crashed into Yinchuan, instantly dodging the sword. Sword 5. The Jade Emperor's sword immediately emitted a dazzling red light. Clang! Clang! Sword Tsu-Tsu-San. Sword. Yinchuan's sword was faster and faster than the previous one, like a talisman that hastened Wei Jia's death. Wei Jia was forced to retreat by Yinchuan and couldn't fight back at all. Impossible! Impossible! Bang! Wei Jia's Taoist bun was broken by Yinchuan, and he was in a dangerous situation. Chapter 291. Yinchuan brat, don't be so arrogant. Wei Yi shouted from high up in the sky as he dove down. Sand and pebbles were flying at a low altitude, and smoke and dust were rising everywhere. The shadows of the three people could be vaguely seen. Clink, 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 clink. When the swords clashed, thousands of sword chi soared into the sky. Sword 13. Xianming Qi. Jian 14. On my arm. The voice that came out from the smoke and dust made everyone look surprised. From the beginning to the end, Yinchuan's voice was filled with calmness, but Wei Jia and Wei Yi were getting more and more anxious. Senior brother, quick save me. Wei Jia's cry of alarm came from the smoke. How could that be? Wei Bing, Wei Ding, you two go and help. Wei Qin's expression was unsightly as he called out to the two deities beside him. Sword 15. Ah! Wei Jia let out a miserable shriek and soared into the sky. Boom! A gust of wind blew past, blowing away the smoke and dust. Xing! In the valley, Yinchuan's Jade Emperor's sword had already turned red. He slashed Wei Yi from head to toe. Boom! Wei Yi was chopped in half in disbelief. His internal organs burst out, splattering all over the ground. However, there was no blood. It was as if all the blood had been sucked out. Half of his body fell to the ground. Even in death, he could not believe that this was real. His eyes were wide open, and he died with remaining grievances. Junior brother, senior brother, Wei Che, Wei Bing, and Wei Ding exclaimed in shock. Countless experts in the surroundings felt their hair stand on end. This was because after Yinchuan killed Wei Yi, his expression was still as indifferent as ever. He turned around and walked back to the Dai Sect's team. His expression didn't change much. What about Wei Jia? Everyone looked up. Wei Jia, who was in the air, began to descend. While falling, his body was also split in half. There was no blood, only a large amount of internal organs spilling out. He refused to believe that he had been killed like this. Boom! Wei Jia's corpse fell to the ground. His death was extremely tragic. Yin Chuan alone killed 2 God Realm warriors in the blink of an eye. Countless experts in the surroundings felt their scalps go numb. The son of Blood Devil Yin Tao? He is also a Blood Devil. Is he really in the Essence Realm? Yin Chuan? The 800 Qi Jing cultivators who followed Yin Chuan all felt a chill in their hearts. This kid was also a ruthless character. Guyu Holy Sun's face was terrifyingly gloomy, but he had been eliminated just now. He felt even more depressed. Thousands of disciples of the Life League grabbed their swords and looked at the canyon with ghastly expressions. They wanted to rush down, but no one dared to. In front of Yin Chuan, 2 God Realm martial artists were slaughtered like pigs and dogs. If he went down, he would definitely be courting death. Alliance Master? Wei Bing and Wei Ding's expressions turned ugly. Wei Che didn't give any more orders. The look in his eyes changed constantly as he stared coldly at Yin Chuan below. Guyu Holy Sun, thank you for what you did today. We will also take our leave, Yin Chuan said to Guyu Holy Sun with a smile. Chapter 292. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and a cloud formed from water vapor carried Yin Chuan and Feng Tyrant's true bodies. Then, he quickly led everyone out of the valley. Yin Chuan had become famous after this battle. At this moment, no one from the Life League dared to stop him. Yin Chuan swaggered out, leaving behind a group of experts in the canyon. It was as if Yin Chuan's group was the only victor, leaving behind only the losers. Guyu Holy Sun's face was gloomy, but he didn't have any excuse to stop them. He just looked on coldly. He watched the 3,000 people slowly leave. Holy Sun, Yin Chuan's reaction speed is too fast. It's the same as Yin Tao's. No, it's better than Yin Tao's. At least, when Yin Tao was in the Essence Realm, his reaction speed couldn't be as fast as a Divine Realm expert. A man in purple said to Guyu Holy Sun. I know, Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Yin Chuan's departure means that Feng Tyrant's Essence Chi avatar can't hold on for much longer. The man in purple said again. His voice wasn't soft, as if he was saying it on purpose for Wei Chan to hear. Yes, he's leaving now. Feng Tyrant's Essence Chi avatar can't hold on for much longer. Wei Chan's expression changed. Guyu Holy Sun looked at the man in purple with satisfaction. Alright, we've found the place. Let's go to the sealed place now. Guyu Holy Sun said in a deep voice. Yes. Everyone nodded in response. Holy Sun, I'll make some arrangements. Wei Chan said. Wei Bing, Wei Ding, Feng Tyrant and Duan San Shu can't hold on for much longer. Their Essence Chi avatars can't hold on for much longer. I order you to take 6,000 Essence Realm disciples and 300 Chi Realm disciples to kill Yin Chuan. If he's alive, I want to see his corpse. Wei Chan said in a deep voice. Yes, Alliance Leader. Wei Bing and Wei Ding replied. Yin Chuan was already so terrifying. He couldn't be allowed to grow any further. Otherwise, he would become the Life League's nightmare in the future. Hearing Wei Yi's order, Guyu Holy Sun felt a little better. Go, Guyu Holy Sun said in a deep voice. As he stepped forward, a white cloud appeared beneath his feet, carrying everyone into the sky. Similarly, a large number of powerhouses followed the white cloud into the depths of the Demon Wind mountain range. Wei Qi followed closely behind Guyu Holy Sun. After Guyu Holy Sun left, the 800 Qi Jing fighters who had been following Yin Chuan were now divided into 2 groups. Some people gave up on following Yin Chuan and chased after Guyu Holy Sun. However, some people were still following them, but they were not as close as before. Instead, they were following them from afar. After all, Yin Chuan might be able to kill them. Order all disciples to keep an eye on Yin Chuan. Once Feng Tyrant is dead, we will avenge your 2 martial ancestors. Wei Bing shouted. Avenge our martial ancestors. A group of Life League disciples shouted. Yin Chuan's army quickly left the demonic bull Great Demon's nest. Not long after they left, Yin Chuan stopped controlling the Essence Chi clone. The Essence Chi clone turned into Essence Chi and entered Feng Tyrant's body again. Feng Tyrant's poison had deepened. His face was so black that it was impossible to see his face clearly. Ha 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 ha, cough cough. Yen Chuan, I was right about you. Foam Tyran was being carried, but he was excited. Old Foam, close your eyes. I'll help you expel the poison. Yen Chuan said in a deep voice. It's useless. This is the black poison of the Life League. There's no antidote. Although Foam Tyran didn't believe it, he still followed Yen Chuan's instructions. It's just a small poison. I can still detoxify it. Yen Chuan waved his left hand and covered it with his sleeve. Suddenly, an emerald green vine appeared on his left wrist. The vine pressed against Foam Tyran's forehead. Suddenly the black gas was sucked out by the vine. Foam Tyran was surprised. Foam Tyran felt that the black poison in his body was constantly being extracted. Half an hour later. Phew! Yen Chuan let out a long breath and kept the poisonous vine. Foam Tyran's face was no longer black. Instead, it had turned blood red. My poison? The poison is gone. How is that possible? Foam Tyran was surprised. I have removed the poison from your body. However, the poison has damaged your nerves and meridians. It is not something that can be recovered in a short period of time. Moreover, you have injured your foundation this time. You will need to rest for a long period of time before you can recover. Yen Chuan shook his head. The poison is detoxified. Everything is easy. Foam Tyran laughed. Sect leader, you're fine? That's great. The three swordsmen were pleasantly surprised. Martial uncle, you were really awesome just now. Too awesome. The four swordsmen were also excited. Not only the four swordsmen. Almost everyone was in a state of excitement. Yen Chuan's miraculous abilities had completely conquered everyone. Alright, let me check on Duan Sanshu. He's dying. Chapter 293. Below a waterfall in the Demonwind mountain range. Yen Chuan brought everyone to a stop in front of a deep pool. Martial uncle, this is the bottom of the pool. It leads to the Black Dragon pool, said the four swordsmen. Yes. Thanks to Martial uncle's thoughtfulness, we have a way out. Now that everyone from the Life League is surrounding us, we can't escape anywhere else. The six swordsmen sighed. Yen Chuan nodded and looked at Foam Tyran and Duan Sanshu. The two of them were extremely weak, especially Duan Sanshu. His face was extremely ugly, and his body was covered in blood. Zhujiansheng, seven swordsmen, remember the heavy responsibility of escorting Foam Tyran and Duan Sanshu back to the Day sect. You must bring them back to the Day sect to recuperate. Yen Chuan said in a deep voice. Yes, Martial uncle, don't worry. The eight answered. Go back. I can't go back. I'm cursed. I can't leave the Demonwind mountain range. Duan Sanshu said weakly. You'll only be waiting for death if you stay here. So you must return to the Day sect. As for your curse, I have a way, but I don't know if you're willing to accept it. Yen Chuan said in a deep voice. Oh. Everyone looked at Yen Chuan in surprise. Curses are actually used on living things, but they can't be used on dead things. As long as you're dead, the curse will be useless. Yen Chuan said in a deep voice. Everyone was puzzled. What I mean is, let you fake your death, seal all your major acupoints, and then consume the drunken death grass. Gu Yu and the others have gone to the sealed area. Once the seal is broken, the curse will automatically be lifted. At that time, we can wake you up. Yen Chuan thought about it and said, Right, drunken death grass? My master planted one. Zhujiansheng's eyes lit up. Ha ha ha. Duan Sanshu smiled weakly and nodded. After all, Duan Sanshu had thought that there was no hope at all. Now that there was hope, Duan Sanshu was naturally delighted. Huoguang. Yen Chuan looked at Huoguang and Lu Jin. Present. I'll give you a mission now. The Life Alliance has sent out all of their Immortal State warriors. At most, they only have 100 Chi State and 4,000 Elite State disciples. I want you to lead the First Legion and annihilate the Life Alliance. Uproot them, Yen Chuan said in a deep voice. Uproot it. Martial uncle, Huoguang, and the others are all in the Essence Realm. The Life Moon League has 100 Chi Realm and 4,000 Essence Realm cultivators. How could Huoguang and the others accomplish that? Zhujiansheng said in surprise. The art of war is deceitful. It's not like we're going to meet force with force. If you can't even deal with this little bit of power, how can you be my first legion? Yanchuan said solemnly. Yes, Your Majesty. Don't worry. The first legion will complete the mission. Huoguang immediately promised. Good. Go and reorganize the army first. We'll leave immediately. Yes. Huoguang went to greet the soldiers. Yanchuan looked at Zhu Jiansheng and said, after escorting Feng Tairan and the others back to the sect, if you have nothing else to do, follow Huoguang and have a look. But try not to interfere. Yes, we will. Zhu Jiansheng immediately said. Obviously, he wanted Zhu Jiansheng and the others to take care of Huoguang. Zhu Jiansheng naturally agreed. Your Majesty, what's wrong? Are you not going back with us? Lu Jin's expression suddenly changed. Everyone looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. I'm not going back. I still need to find someone. Yin Chuan shook his head. You still need to find someone? The woman in white. Martial uncle, you're in danger. The three swordsmen immediately shouted. Don't try to persuade me. Yin Chuan shook his head. At this moment, even if the sky fell down, Yin Chuan would not leave. Chapter 294. Then let's stay and protect Martial Uncle. The four swordsmen shouted. No need. I'm a small target by myself. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Yin Chuan shook his head. But everyone was anxious. Say no more. I've made up my mind. Yin Chuan shook his head. But everyone looked at Yin Chuan and didn't know what to say. King Old Slave, stay. This is an order. Everyone must leave. Yin Chuan said. Yes. Lu Jin said with a complicated expression. Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu looked at Yin Chuan weakly. They knew that they couldn't persuade him, and could only sigh. All right. Duan Sanshu suddenly said. Martial nephew, open my shoe. Duan Sanshu said to the four swordsmen. Oh. Duan Sanshu opened the shoe and revealed a scroll. This is? The four swordsmen were surprised. The map of the sealed land. I drew 2 copies. You can keep this one in case you need it. Duan Sanshu said with a smile. Yin Chuan took the map and nodded. Whoosh! The waterfall fell. Yin Chuan stood on the shore and watched everyone enter the deep pool. They followed the pool and left the demonic Wind Mountain range. After everyone left, Yin Chuan's expression turned serious. He tightened his belt and rushed to a mountain peak with the Jade Emperor sword on his back and looked down. Standing on the mountain peak, he could vaguely see the Life League's disciples in the distance. The Life League's Taoist robes were unique. There was a moon on the chest and a sun on the back. Therefore, Yin Chuan recognized them at a glance. Yin Chuan touched the Jade Emperor sword and said with narrowed eyes. Huoguang and the others have left, but this place can't be exposed. Jade Emperor, it's up to us now. If we want to divert the Life League's attention, we can only kill. Buzz. The Jade Emperor's sword trembled violently, as if it was happy about Yin Chuan's decision. Let's start the massacre. Yin Chuan's eyes turned cold as he rushed down the mountain. 8 disciples of the Life League were searching around. Not here. Senior brother, there's nothing here either. Humph, they won't be able to escape. There are so many of them, and they have already been completely surrounded by us. Find them for me. The first person to discover Yin Chuan's group will be rewarded with 500 spirit stones. Yes. Looking for me? Yin Chuan's voice suddenly sounded. The 8 of them were slightly stunned. It's just Yin Chuan. The Alliance Master said that Yin Chuan is at the 3rd level of the Essence Realm. Let's attack together and take down Yin Chuan. The Alliance Master will reward us handsomely. Someone said in surprise. Take him down. Everyone rushed over. You overestimate yourself. Yin Chuan sneered. With a wave of the Jade Emperor's sword, Yin Chuan stepped forward to meet them head-on. The Jade Emperor's sword danced in the air, and the sky was filled with sword shadows. SSSS. SSSS. Clang. SSSS. The 8 of them fell to the ground at the same time, their eyes filled with disbelief. There was a fatal wound on each of their bodies. At the same time, the 8 of them, who were originally full of blood, were now pale and bloodless. All the blood in their bodies had been sucked out by the Jade Emperor's sword. This is just the beginning. Yin Chuan coldly stepped over the 8 corpses and shot into the distance. Yin Chuan followed the map given by Duan Sanshu and headed deep into the Demon Wind Mountain range. He killed all the disciples of the Life League who were searching for him. In a valley in the Demon Wind Mountain range, Wei Bing and Wei Ding were listening to the report of 2 disciples. Martial uncles, it's been 5 days and another 20 have died. There are already more than 100 people. Yin Chuan has already killed more than 100 of our disciples, a Qi Jing expert said with an ugly expression. Chapter 295. Moreover, every disciple who was killed turned into a dried corpse. They died a horrible death. Fine, you must find them. Wei Bing shouted. Yes. Hurry up and go. Wei Ding shouted. Yes. The 2 disciples left quickly. Wei Bing and Wei Ding looked gloomy. Yin Chuan alone. He killed more than 100 of us in the essence state in 5 days. We can't let him walk out of the Demon Wind Mountain range. The Alliance Master is right. If Yin Chuan doesn't die, the Life Alliance will never have a day of peace, Wei Bing said with a gloomy face. Most importantly, Yin Chuan is very cunning. He avoided all the disciples in the Qi state and only killed those in the essence state, Wei Ding said with a pale face. He's going to die. The people of the Great River sect have disappeared. So what if they disappeared? Yin Chuan's death is enough. We have 6,000 disciples. Let's see how he's going to kill them all. Yin Chuan headed north. The disciples of the Life League kept encircling him. The outer sect disciples who followed Yin Chuan's army gradually got the news. 2 white-robed swordsmen stood at the top of a mountain. 300 people? Yin Chuan has killed 300 people alone? His father is the blood demon. He is also a monster. 300 people, all of them in the same level. He killed them all and drew their blood. This Yin Chuan is too powerful. But it doesn't matter. Yin Chuan didn't meet any Qi state masters. Let's keep watching. Another canyon. Haha, Yin Chuan, let's see where you can run to this time. Send the signal. A disciple of the Life League shouted. Yes, uncle. 10 or so disciples in the essence state answered. Whoosh. A light like fireworks shot up to the sky. Yin Chuan's eyes turned cold. He turned his wrist, and the Jade Emperor sword rushed into the crowd. Sword light shot out in all directions. Die. Ci. Ah. Yin Chuan's sword was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already killed 5 people at the elite state. You are courting death. The Qi Jing leader's face darkened as he swung his sword towards Yin Chuan. Clang! The 2 swords collided, and a large amount of sword qi burst out. Boom! After all, Yin Chuan was only in the essence realm, so he was sent flying. However, there were 3 essence stage Life League disciples in the direction he was flying in. Die! The Jade Emperor's sword took advantage of the momentum and swung out. Under 3 streaks of sword light, another 3 Life League disciples died on the spot. Bastard! The Qi Jing fighter shouted as he swung his sword again. Dozens of sword qi flew towards Yin Chuan. Dang! Yin Chuan quickly blocked the sword qi. A beam of sword qi tore open Yin Chuan's sleeve. However, Yin Chuan still managed to dodge it. Yin Chuan didn't fight the Qi Jing fighters head-on. Instead, he attacked the remaining Essence Stage disciples. Martial Uncle, help! A few Essence Stage disciples shouted in fear. Help! No one can save you. Kill! The crazy Yin Chuan swung the Jade Emperor's sword viciously. With Yin Chuan's sword skills, these Essence Stage disciples were no match for him. The difference in cultivation level wasn't big, so he could kill them with one strike. You are courting death. The Qi Jing fighter was about to go crazy. He raised his sword and charged towards Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan stared at the Qi Jing fighter and raised his sword. Yin Chuan's sword skills were extremely fast. In a flash, the Qi Jing fighter's sword qi was cut open. Under the Qi Jing fighter's control, the sword qi flew towards Yin Chuan's body. Qi. Yin Chuan's skin was cut open, but the Qi Jing fighter was also cut open. Their wounds were about the same, but the Jade Emperor's sword sucked blood. Ah! The Qi Jing fighter screamed in pain and quickly dodged. Yin Chuan covered his wound and said regretfully, "Too bad, it only cut open my skin." Xiao. Yin Chuan ran towards the forest. The Qi Jing fighter covered his wound with his pale face. He looked at Yin Chuan running away, but he didn't chase after him. Soon a large number of Life League disciples gathered. He ran in that direction. Tell everyone to chase after him, the Qi Jing fighter shouted. Chapter 296. Super Yin Chuan in a Forest. Qi. Yin Chuan killed another disciple of the Life League. Yin Chuan did not know how many people he had killed. His clothes were tattered, and there were sword scars on his body. However, with Yin Chuan's ability, these scars would disappear soon. The Jade Emperor sword was bright red and energy poured into Yin Chuan's body. Jade Emperor sword. Putting aside the evil aura, killing people can also increase my cultivation? Yin Chuan sighed. Releasing the evil energy in his body, Yin Chuan's body glowed red. Another breakthrough? At this time? Looks like I have to find a quiet place. Yin Chuan smiled bitterly. Whoosh! Yin Chuan shot into the forest, leaving behind a pile of dried corpses. After Yin Chuan left, a group of people quickly arrived. The disciples of the Life League had ugly expressions on their faces. The news spread quickly. In a valley, a few outer sect disciples were telling each other the news they had gathered. Yin Chuan is really crazy. 600 people in the elite state. That's terrifying. He killed 600 people with the same cultivation? 600 people in the elite state are nothing. I heard that during this period of time, 8 Qi Jing experts were also injured by Yin Chuan. Everyone was silent for a while. Crazy. Finally, someone could not help but say, if I had just started cultivating, I would have worshipped him as my master. He's too fierce. Yes, I would be satisfied as long as he is half as fierce as he is. As long as Yin Chuan walks out of the Demon Wind Mountain Range alive, his name will be known throughout the world. Senior brother, are we still following him? Of course, why not? Even if we can't get the heaven-class cultivation technique, we can still witness a legend. Even if he falls soon, we won't be lonely in the Demon Wind Mountain Range this time. Okay, let's follow him. At this moment, Yin Chuan was like a magnet, attracting the gazes of countless practitioners. Of course, the most important thing was still the disciples of the Life Alliance. At the peak of a mountain, the 5 Qi Jing warriors carried their swords on their backs and looked into the distance. Master, Martial Uncle, we found him. We found Yin Chuan's whereabouts again. Someone quickly ran over. You found it. The 5 Qi Jing warriors' faces darkened. Yin Chuan's ferocity during this period of time had already made a group of experts somewhat fearful. Yes, he's in a valley up ahead. He seems to be adjusting his breathing. Regulating breathing. Yes, Master. What should we do now? Are we going to kill them? No. Then what should we do? Don't disturb Yin Chuan. Inform everyone and gather all the disciples of the Life League. This time we must take him down. Yes. But what if Yin Chuan escapes? We'll set up the Sun-Moon Cycle Grand Formation outside, allowing entry but not exit. Trap him there and wait for our reinforcements to arrive. Then we'll attack with all our might. Yes. A few days later, the valley where Yin Chuan was located was filled with white fog. It was obvious that the Sun-Moon Cycle Grand Formation had been set up, trapping Yin Chuan within. Outside the Grand Formation, more and more disciples of the Life League gathered. At this moment, there were close to 200 second-generation Qi Jing disciples, and close to 4,000 third-generation Qi Jing disciples. The 200 Qi Jing disciples looked at each other, and finally looked at a bald man. Chapter 297. Senior brother, the 2 martial uncles should still be on their way here. Now that we have so many people attacking Yin Chuan, can we make a move now? The bald man squinted his eyes and said, absolutely. With so many of us, even if we just stand there and let him kill us, he will be exhausted. If we don't make a move now, how can we face our fellow cultivators in the future? Yes. Enter the formation and kill Yin Chuan. Yes. 200 Qi Realm and 4,000 Essence Realm cultivators roared as they stepped into the white fog and headed towards the valley where Yin Chuan was. In the valley, Yin Chuan sat cross-legged under a tree. His breathing was steady and his face was calm. His hands were placed on his knees, forming the lotus hand seal. Boom! Yin Chuan's body suddenly let out a muffled sound. Phew! Fourth level of the Essence Realm? Yin Chuan asked calmly. Buzz! The Jade Emperor sword that was stabbed into the ground shook violently as a warning. Yin Chuan slowly opened his eyes. The Jade Emperor sword stopped shaking as soon as he opened his eyes. Yin Chuan stood up slowly and looked around. Above the valley, there were many Life League disciples. Thousands of people surrounded Yin Chuan from all directions. Yin Chuan looked around and saw that all of the Life League's disciples were holding their longswords tightly, looking at him nervously and seriously. Shing! Yin Chuan pulled out the Jade Emperor sword and looked at the thousands of people around him. Yin Chuan, you can't run away. A second-generation disciple of the Life League shouted. No one can save you. This time, you are dead. There is still our formation outside. You have nowhere to run. Break your own meridians, and I will consider leaving your corpse intact. Many Qi realm cultivators kept on talking, as if they were looking at a dead body. Yin Chuan sneered and said, You think you can stop me? Your swordsmanship is good, but you're only in the Essence Realm. Only in the Essence Realm. A bald man said coldly. Then, what if I'm in the Qi state? Yin Chuan smiled. Qi realm? The Life League's disciples were shocked. Don't listen to his nonsense. He must be in the profound state. As long as his cultivation is higher than 2 levels, he can see through his opponent's cultivation. Martial Uncle is in the Immortal state, so he can see through his opponent's cultivation. Yin Chuan is at LV3 of the profound state. A Qi Jing expert said. Humph. Yin Chuan, don't struggle anymore. You're dead for sure. The group of experts composed themselves one after another. Really? I'm not talking about the current state. Yin Chuan laughed. Don't listen to his nonsense. Kill for me. The bald man shouted. Kill. Many cultivators charged down from the surrounding mountain peaks. Close to 4,000 elite realm warriors. Even if you were to chop them down, you would still be able to chop them down until your hands went numb. Yin Chuan closed his eyes slightly in the face of the 4,000 cultivators charging at him. He released the evil energy that the Jade Emperor's sword had imbued into him. Plop, plop, plop. Yin Chuan's heart was beating faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, it had doubled in size. Boom. Yin Chuan's tattered clothes suddenly fluttered despite the lack of wind. A powerful aura gushed out from Yin Chuan's body. Ooh. Her long hair fluttered in the wind. Not only was her hair fluttering in the wind, but it was also growing longer and turning red. Rumble. All of a sudden, a large amount of red aura appeared around Yin Chuan. The aura turned into a storm and quickly revolved around Yin Chuan. Rumble. Sand and pebbles were sent flying in all directions, and for a moment, a violent storm was stirred up, and an extremely evil aura was emitted. For a moment, Yin Chuan seemed to have turned into a red demon, which made the disciples of the Life League change their expressions and stop in their tracks. Chapter 298. Rumble. Yin Chuan's aura continued to rise. The violent aura formed a whirlwind that blew towards the surrounding peaks. Blood Devil Yin Tao? No, Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan can also turn into a Blood Devil. Blood Devil? It's really a Blood Devil, the disciples of the Four Moons Alliance exclaimed. Qi state. This is the aura of the Qi state. It's really the Qi state, someone exclaimed. As for Yin Chuan, he was currently in a state of extreme excitement. His blood was boiling and making a gurgling sound. Yin Chuan could feel the power that his blood was giving him. Not enough. Not enough. I'm not completely excited yet. Yin Chuan's aura grew stronger and stronger. What are you afraid of? Kill him. No matter what kind of demon he turns into, he's only one person. Why should we be afraid of him? Kill. Kill. The surrounding overlords gathered their courage and charged forward with their swords. Soon, Yin Chuan was surrounded in the center. Buzz. Yin Chuan suddenly opened his eyes. A red light immediately gushed out from his eyes. The person standing in front of Yin Chuan suddenly stopped and looked at Yin Chuan's eyes in horror. Yin Chuan's eyes were blood red. Under the blood red eyes, There was an evil aura that no one had ever seen before. It was an evil aura. You. Just looking at those eyes was enough to make one's heart skip a beat. Yin Chuan, who was surrounded by the blood-red storm, suddenly let out an evil smile. Blood-red eyes? Super theurgy. So I'm Super Yin Chuan? What a great feeling. I like this feeling. Ha 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 ha. Yin Chuan's personality changed drastically. Although he was rational, he was no longer the reserved person he used to be. More than 4,000 people? If you want to die, so be it. Ha ha ha. Yin Chuan laughed and rushed into the crowd. CI. The Jade Emperor's sword danced, and immediately, blood-red sword chi shot out. Yin Chuan's speed was extremely fast, so fast that in many people's eyes, he was only a shadow. In the blink of an eye, he charged into the crowd. SSSS. Their swords danced as more and more people surrounded Yin Chuan. More and more disciples rushed over without any regard for their lives. It was as if they had formed a huge human pile, trapping Yin Chuan in the center. Attack together and kill him. Kill. Roar. Yin Chuan let out a loud roar. Close to 100 practitioners were sent flying by an extremely huge force. It was as if there was a huge explosion. Close to 100 practitioners soared into the sky together. It was as if the sky was filled with flowers, and the rain was sprinkling down. Ah! Help! CI. Hundreds of sword chi soared into the sky and instantly, close to 100 practitioners were cut in half. Only a few screams were left before they were completely killed. Bang! A large number of broken limbs fell down, but Yin Chuan did not care about them. Instead, he rushed towards another group of people and killed them. He was like a meat grinder as he rushed towards the crowd. Suddenly, broken limbs filled the sky. Not good. Everyone in the Qi realm, attack together, quick. The bald man shouted. Kill. Close to 200 Qi realm practitioners raised their swords and rushed towards Yin Chuan. However, Yin Chuan did not even bother to fight with them. Instead, he continued to kill the group of Qi realm practitioners. Now that Yin Chuan had reached the Qi realm, his speed was not any slower than the other Qi realm practitioners. Therefore, the group of Qi realm practitioners chased after him. Yin Chuan was in the midst of hunting down elite realm experts. As the Qi realm practitioners were killed, the Jade Emperor's sword absorbed a large amount of blood qi for him. It was as if the previous slaughter did not consume any blood qi at all. Kill! 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 Wherever Yin Chuan went, the sky was filled with dismembered corpses. Everywhere he went, there was no one who did not cry for their parents. Blood demon is here. Help! Master, save me! Don't kill me, ah! Inside the Sun-Moon Samsara Grand Formation, an unprecedented massacre began. Chapter 299. Inside the Sun-Moon Samsara Formation. At the peak of a mountain, Yin Chuan's blood-red hair danced in the wind. He was surrounded by a bloody aura, as he held the Jade Emperor's sword in his hand. He looked like a demon from hell as he stared at the terrified Life League disciples below the mountain. It had been 2 hours, and there were already 1,500 Essence Realm cultivators that had died under Yin Chuan's sword. 10 Qi Realm cultivators had also been killed by Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan was like a meat grinder. Wherever he went, there was only death. However, under the joint attack of the Qi Realm cultivators, Yin Chuan's arm was cut open. This was the only wound left after killing the 15,000 Sun-Moon Alliance disciples. As some blood flowed out, Yin Chuan looked at his wound. He was not angry. Instead, he revealed an evil smile. He placed the wound in front of him and stuck out his tongue to lick the blood on the wound. The evil light in his eyes became even more intense. Although he was still rational, his nature had become extremely evil. Licking blood was something that Yin Chuan would never do before he demonized. However, he did it now, and he seemed to enjoy it. The evil smile, the evil look in his eyes, and the scene of him licking blood caused the Life League disciples to be terrified. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. What kind of monster is this? Twisting his neck, Yin Chuan laughed. The game has just begun. Let's continue. Ha 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 ha. You, Yin Chuan, what are you doing? A Chi realm cultivator said with his scalp numb. Game, have you forgotten? Either you kill me, or I kill all of you. Come and kill me, I'm coming. Yin Chuan said with a ferocious face. Xiao. Turning into a bloody light, Yin Chuan dove down towards the crowd of cultivators. Ah, save me. The Essence Realm cultivators all ran away in fear. Run. The game is not over yet, and you want to run? Leave all of them behind. My Jade Emperor loves your blood. Ha 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 ha. Shoo. It was a one-sided massacre. Yin Chuan continuously killed elite realms. Everyone, let's attack together. The Sun and Moon reincarnation spell formation can only be entered but not exited. Yin Chuan has already killed all of the elite realm experts. So now it's time for us to attack. If we don't join forces now, we will be slaughtered by him. If we can injure him once, we can continue to injure him. Kill. The cruel slaughter continued. Yin Chuan was like the Grim Reaper. Wherever he passed, corpses and organs flew everywhere. Help! The elite realms cried and fled in all directions. However, after Yin Chuan transformed into a devil, he became more and more excited and happy as he killed. Kill. Only by killing could he vent the joy in his heart. Outside the Sun-Moon Samsara formation, the disciples of the Life League rushed into the formation from all directions. They had no idea that what awaited them was the despair of death. More and more outer sect disciples gathered around, but they didn't rush in. Instead, they stood outside and watched. It's been 4 hours. I wonder what's going on inside. 4,800 people have already gone in to kill Yin Chuan. There's only Yin Chuan inside. He must be dead. More than 4,000 elite realms, and 200 Chi realms. Why hasn't he come out yet? Yin Chuan is only in the elite realm. He should be dead by now. I wonder if Yin Chuan can escape. I don't think so. Yin Chuan is doomed. Chapter 300. The outer sect disciples were all waiting for the result. Humans have a common trait of sympathizing with the weak. They all sighed for Yin Chuan. But no one knew that the situation inside the array was not what they had imagined. After Yin Chuan turned into a demon, he killed everyone. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. He killed from morning to night. The disciples of the Life League had not come out yet. Countless experts from the outer sect were puzzled. What was going on inside? Inside the Sun and Moon Samsara array, there were dried corpses everywhere. There were already 5,000 people who had entered the formation, but there were only 1,000 people left. Only 1,000 people were left, and these 1,000 people looked as if they were about to go crazy. Don't kill me. Help. Impossible. Yin Chuan should have run out of energy by now. Why? Senior brother, I can't take it anymore. I can't kill him. Yin Chuan has been hit more than 50 times, but I still can't kill him. Senior brother, what should we do? Roar. Yin Chuan let out an evil roar. His eyes lit up as he charged towards the group of elite realms. Ah, master, save me. I want to go out. Withdraw the array. The elite state cultivators shouted crazily. Go out. Don't even think about leaving. The game is not over yet. Continue, continue. Die, all of you die. Hiss. The Jade Emperor sword was blood red and emitted a bright light. Its power was pouring into Yin Chuan's body. Yin Chuan seemed to never be tired. He kept killing. Most of the elite state cultivators were dead. Yin Chuan also killed more than 100 Chi state cultivators. The rest of the Chi state cultivators were so scared that they did not know what to do. Kill again. If Yin Chuan doesn't die, we will. Kill. The Chi state cultivators roared and rushed forward. Good timing. Yin Chuan smiled evilly. Rumble. The battle never stopped. Outside the Sun-Moon Samsara formation, more and more experts gathered, as if they were all waiting for the news of Yin Chuan's death. However, the formation did not withdraw and continued to hold on. The people who went in never came out again. No one knew what happened inside. At the same time, he wanted to see what was inside. Swish. Finally, the two figures landed in front of the grand array. Wei Bing and Wei Ding of the Life League? Someone recognized them. Wei Bing and Wei Ding looked at the array in front of them. There were dozens of people around them. using their Dharma treasures to support the array. How is it? Wei Bing asked in a deep voice. Honorable martial ancestors, the second-generation great senior martial brother, said that the formation cannot be removed unless the two of you are here. Yin Chuan is inside. Our Life League has more than 5,000 disciples and 300 Qi realm cultivators. The person who set up the formation said respectfully. It's been 12 hours, right? Wei Yi smiled. Yes, it's been 12 hours. Ha ha ha, it's been 12 hours. Yin Chuan must be dead. Let's withdraw the formation. Wei Jiao laughed. Yes. Rumble. The rolling fog slowly dissipated, and the formation gradually disappeared, revealing the scene inside. Everyone looked inside with rapt attention. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Blood demon, blood demon, blood demon. Chapter 301. Deactivate the array and let me out. Sob, 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 save me. As soon as the array was deactivated, cries and screams could be heard. In the sky, a demon surrounded by blood chi was chasing after a small group of less than 50 people. Their hair was disheveled and they were terrified. They did not dare to split up. Once they did, they would die. The 50 small groups were terrified. They kept retreating in the face of the demon. There were corpses everywhere. Broken limbs and dried corpses were everywhere. They were all disciples of the Life League. And they were all dead. There were more than 5,000 people in the array, and only a few dozen were left. The others were all dead. All of them? This scene made everyone's eyeballs pop out of their sockets. The spectators from the outer sect were all shocked. How is this possible? 5,000 people? They are all dead. Blood hair, red eyes. Blood demon Yin Tao? No, it is Yin Chuan. He is Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan has also turned into a demon. He killed 5,000 people alone. 5,000 people? Crazy, crazy, this is not real. The onlookers screamed. Blood demon? Is this the blood demon? 5,000 people were all killed? Wei Bing and Wei Ding were also stunned. They could not believe what they saw. Yin Chuan? Yin Chuan killed so many people? This is not right. It is impossible. Even if they stood there and let him kill them, he could not have done it. Master! Master! Save me! A Qi Jing cultivator cried out as soon as he saw Wei Bing. Master, master! Uncle Master, help! The crowd cried and flew towards Wei Bing and Wei Yi. At this moment, they hated that their parents did not give them 2 more legs. In the past few hours, facing the blood demon, they had lost all their courage. Run! Now they could only run. In midair, Yin Chuan's body was covered in blood. There were also hundreds of wounds on his body. But Yin Chuan didn't seem to feel any pain at all. Just as the pursuers were getting into a frenzy, the array was removed. Yin Chuan also saw Wei Bing and Wei Ding. TSK, God Realm? It's boring. I'm leaving. I'm not going to play with you anymore. Ha 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 ha. Yin Chuan turned into a streak of blood light and shot toward the distant mountain forest. Escape? You still want to escape? Where do you think you're going? Wei Bing bellowed. Stay here. Wei Ding also shouted. At this moment, the 2 God Realm warriors felt that their heads were filled with blood. There were more than 5,000 people. In addition to the 600 people killed by Yin Chuan, the 6,000 people he led to encircle and annihilate Yin Chuan could be said to be completely annihilated. There were only about 10,000 disciples in the Life League. How could Yin Chuan kill so many of them by himself? So many? After this battle, the Life League had suffered a great loss. The 2 of them were so angry that they wanted to tear Yin Chuan apart. They stepped forward and chased after Yin Chuan. They had to kill Yin Chuan. They had to kill him. The 2 God Realm warriors chased after Chen Fan. But none of the 40 Qi State warriors chased after Chen Fan. In the past few hours, they had been driven crazy by Blood Devil Yin Chuan. They were scared out of their wits when they saw Yin Chuan. How would they dare to chase after him? They were frightened and trembling. The fear they had experienced in the past few hours was not something they could recover from in a short time. As for the surrounding outer sect disciples, they were still in shock. After a while, a few of them came to their senses and went to the area where the sun and moon samsara ray was. The ground was covered with corpses and a large number of dismembered bodies. None of them were left alive. It's Yin Chuan's doing. Almost all of them are mummified corpses. It was Yin Chuan who did it alone. Someone said in horror. Damn it. Is he telling a story? Blood Devil, Yin Chuan of the Day sect? After tonight, everyone will know Yin Chuan. That's crazy. Chapter 302. Swoosh. A ray of crimson light flashed through the forest. Run? Stop right there. Die, you little bastard. Wei Bing and Wei Ding roared in the air. Their eyes were bloodshot and filled with hatred. Annihilated? Almost annihilated? They had thought of many possibilities, but not this one. 300 Qi state and 6,000 essence state cultivators were killed by him alone? He was all by himself. He was only in the essence state. The Life League was on the verge of collapse. More than half of their disciples were killed by Yin Chuan alone. Boom. The ray of crimson light stopped beside a large lake. Bang! Yin Chuan stood at the peak of a small mountain on the lake. His eyes were bright red, and his body was surrounded by a bloody mist. The Jade Emperor sword in his hand was blood red. His hair was blood red, and his clothes were dyed red. He looked like a blood red demon. Yin Chuan stood on the peak of the mountain and stopped running. Instead, he looked coldly at the two people who were flying towards him. Bang! The two of them stopped when they got close. Little bastard, you're not running anymore? You still have so much energy after killing so many of my men? How did you do it? Originally, the two of them wanted to kill Yin Chuan in a fit of anger. But when they saw that Yin Chuan was in high spirits, they were astonished. Roar! Yin Chuan roared at the two of them and smiled excitedly. I'm not running anymore. Come, let's see what it's like to kill a celestial state cultivator. Yin Chuan licked his lips. You're courting death. Wei Bing snorted. He slashed his sword at Yin Chuan. Buzz! 100 Zhang Long energy sword appeared in the air and slashed at Yin Chuan. It was as if it was going to cut Yin Chuan and the small mountain in half. Jade Emperor! He waved his crimson sword at the energy sword. Hung! As the two swords collided, their auras swirled into a storm, setting off huge waves in all directions. After Yin Chuan's sword strike, he was sent flying with a loud bang. Rumble! About 50 trees were smashed to pieces by Yin Chuan's fleshly body. He crashed into a pile of ruins at the foot of the mountain. 10,000 sword slash. Wei Ding followed up and quickly dealt another blow. Rumble! The billowing sword energy shot straight at the ruins where Yin Chuan was. For a moment, gravel flew everywhere and smoke and dust soared into the sky. Yin Chuan was at the foot of the mountain. Yin Chuan had become a target, a huge target for thousands of arrows. Rumble! Wei Ding continued to slash, and the sword chi continued to flow. It took a full 10 breaths of time before it slowly stopped. After 10 breaths, the ground had sunk by more than 5 feet. Who? With a wave of his hand, the dust settled. Boom! A large amount of spring water suddenly emerged from the ground. At the place where the 10,000 swords landed, a deep hole appeared, and a large amount of lake water gushed out. The little bastard dug a hole in the ground. In the lake! Wei Bing shouted. Boom! Yin Chuan rushed out of the lake, and slashed at Wei Ding from behind with the Jade Emperor sword in his hand. Buzz! A vast blood-red sword chi slashed at Wei Ding. It was as if it was going to cut Wei Ding in half. Wei Ding's face hardened. He suddenly turned around, and used his long sword to meet Yin Chuan's sword chi. Boom! The power of an immortal state warrior was vast and powerful. Yin Chuan's sword chi blasted toward Yin Chuan. Boom! Under the huge impact, Yin Chuan was sent flying again. He crashed into a large pit in the distance. Crack, crack, crack. Yin Chuan slowly stood up. Wei Bing and Wei Ding's fierce attacks also paused. Chapter 303. How did you do it? Why are you still so energetic after killing so many people for so long? Wei Bing shouted again. This was against the rules of cultivation. How did he do it? Ha 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 ha. Yin Chuan stood up with difficulty and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He smiled evilly, and the red light in his eyes became even more demonic. Immortal state warrior? There is indeed a gap. The power of killing Qi state warriors can't do anything to you. Yin Chuan said with a wild look in his eyes. Good. Tell me what you know and I'll leave your body intact, Wei Bing said. Intact? Ha ha ha. Yin Chuan said crazily. He suddenly pointed the Jade Emperor sword at the sky. In the name of Yin Chuan, I summon the power of the stars in the sky. Bow down to me. Yin Chuan shouted to the sky. Buzz! As he roared, Yin Chuan's body trembled. Wei Bing and Wei Ding looked at the sky. They suddenly felt that one of the stars in the sky suddenly lit up and let out a dazzling light. The Emperor Star? The North Pole? The two of them were shocked. The Emperor Star lit up? No, it didn't. The Emperor Star's brightness didn't change at all. It was just that a large amount of starlight gathered around Yin Chuan. Buzz! The starlight gathered and gradually turned into a beam of light. The beam of starlight with a diameter of 5 feet suddenly enveloped Yin Chuan. The beam of starlight reached the sky and the ground. Unlike Huoguang's beam of starlight, Yin Chuan's beam of starlight was extremely bright this time. All the overlords in the Demon Wind Mountain range suddenly turned to look at Yin Chuan. Because it was too far away, and there were thin clouds in the sky, the others couldn't see which star the beam of starlight led to. However, they could see a huge beam of starlight in the Demon Wind Mountain range. At the top of a mountain, Guyu Holy Sun, and everyone suddenly stopped. Almost everyone turned around and looked at the beam of starlight in the distance. Holy Sun, is this the will of the stars? A man in purple asked in surprise. Who is it? He had actually refined so many star wills, absorbing the power of the stars? Such a huge amount of star power? The ancient moon Holy Sun said in surprise. Could it be a Dalord? The violet-robed man asked softly. Who? Guyu Holy Sun's pupil shrank. Guyu Holy Sun frowned. It is similar to what the Dalords control, but it shouldn't be. Which star is that? I can't see it clearly. It's too far away. Unless I stand close to that person and sense where the starlight is coming from, it's impossible to tell from here. The will of the stars. Guyu's face darkened. Beside another waterfall, Yao Tiansheng sat cross-legged at the top of the waterfall. 8 men stood around him. They were all looking at the starlight pillar in the distance with astonishment. Master, is he a Dalord of the Great Revelation Holy Land? Lord Spider asked, holding his zither. Yao Tiansheng looked at the sky and fell silent. He shouldn't be. The 3 Dalords of the Great Revelation Holy Land shouldn't have this color. Yao Tiansheng shook his head. Then who could it be? Yao Tiansheng frowned and pondered. Suddenly, a domineering gaze appeared in Yao Tiansheng's mind. Was it the young man who had disrupted his battle during the zither competition in Liangjing? No, he's too young. He's only in the essence realm. Yao Tiansheng immediately denied. Master? Who are you talking about? Lord Spider asked curiously. Don't worry about that. We have more important things to do. Yao Tiansheng shook his head and refused to answer. Yes, everyone answered. Chapter 304. In a mountain forest surrounded by Yin-Chi. In a place where Yin-Chi gathered, a black-robed figure looked at the distant starlight pillar. Some clouds were embroidered on the black robe. If Yin Chuan was here, he would definitely recognize this person. This person was the feng shui master who passed by last time, Feng Yinyang. Behind Feng Yinyang, there were 2 white human skeletons standing. They looked like human skeletons. The skeletons stood behind Feng Yinyang, as if they were alive. The eyes of the skeletons glowed with a faint green light. The skeletons saw the starlight in the distance. Looking at the starlight, the bones all over their body made a ka-ka-ka sound. Boom! Boom! The 2 skeletons actually knelt down like humans. They knelt down to the distant starlight pillar. Feng Yinyang turned his head in surprise. Kneel down? You actually knelt down to that star will? In that case, the star will that person possessed should be a main star? Main star? Which main star? Feng Yinyang said hoarsely. The crepe myrtle star will rushed down and the starlight pillar enveloped Yin Chuan. A surge of star power poured into Yin Chuan's body. Rumble! Around the starlight pillar, rolling gravel slowly floated in the air, as if it was supported by Yin Chuan's overflowing power. Yin Chuan held the Jade Emperor sword in his hand, and stared coldly at the opposite side. Ka. Cracks suddenly appeared on Yin Chuan's skin, and blood seeped out from the cracks. Bang! The blood qi that originally surrounded Yin Chuan suddenly soared more than twice. Damn it, the flesh body of this life really can't withstand this star power. It's going to burst again. Yin Chuan scolded coldly. On the opposite side, Wei Bing and Wei Ding looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. Star will? He's only in the essence state, right? How can he have star will? The two of them were surprised. Pei. Yin Chuan spat out a mouthful of blood and smiled evilly again. Didn't you want to kill me just now? Come on. Yin Chuan laughed. Buzz. The Jade Emperor sword in his hand trembled as he stepped forward and shot towards the two of them. Boom. A huge sword qi that was 5 times larger than the previous one shot towards Wei Ding. Humph. Wei Ding swung his sword to meet the attack. Hong. The sword swept up a vast wave of qi, and the lake water below exploded with a loud bang, filling the sky with water. Crash! The lake water that soared into the sky fell down like a majestic downpour. With this collision, Yin Chuan was pushed back 50 meters, while Wei Ding was pushed back nearly 30 meters. Wei Ding's expression changed as he said, Strength? Senior brother, kill him. His strength has increased again. He's close to the deity realm. Close to the deity realm. What? Wei Bing's expression changed. Bah! Yin Chuan spat out another mouthful of bloody phlegm. Almost there. Damn it. His strength hasn't reached the divine realm? But it's enough. It's enough to kill the two of you. Yin Chuan said with bloodshot eyes. Yin Chuan took another step forward and charged forward. Xing! The bloody sword formed 100-meter-long sword energy and slashed towards Wei Ding again. Little bastard, you're courting death. Wei Ding charged forward again. 18th sword. Boom. Outside the bloody sword qi, a river of sword qi suddenly appeared and rushed towards Wei Ding. Wei Ding couldn't tell which sword was the Jade Emperor sword. Stop! Wei Bing slashed at Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan ignored him and continued to surround Wei Ding with the river of sword qi. Rumble! Wei Ding slashed apart the river of sword qi, but a small part of it still passed through Wei Ding. Xing! There was a muffled sound of a sword piercing flesh. Wei Bing's sword energy left a huge gash on Yin Chuan's back, and blood gushed out. Roar! Yin Chuan roared and raised his sword to defend. Boom! Yin Chuan knocked away Wei Bing's sword. However, the huge wound on his back couldn't be healed. It was a serious injury, but Yin Chuan didn't go crazy. Instead, he smiled evilly. Junior brother. Wei Bing shouted. On the other side, Wei Ding's body was split in half. Yin Chuan didn't defend and killed Wei Ding with one strike. Gaga explode. Yin Chuan smiled and waved the Jade Emperor sword at Wei Ding's corpse. Boom! Wei Ding, whose blood had been drawn, exploded. No, impossible. Wei Bing shouted. It's your turn now. Yin Chuan licked the blood on his lips and smiled evilly. No, you devil. Wei Bing turned around and tried to run. You only think of running now. 19th sword. Chapter 305. It's your turn now. Yin Chuan licked the blood on his lips and smirked. No, you devil. You devil. Wei Bing turned around and tried to run. Now you want to run. Jian 19. He flipped the Jade Emperor sword and pushed out a huge force from his palm. Suddenly, 10,000 Jade Emperor swords appeared around Wei Bing like illusions. They seemed illusory and real, surrounding Wei Bing, who was about to escape. How is this possible? Wei Bing was shocked. Wei Bing could feel that these 10,000 illusions were all real. 10,000 blood swords. On the other side, Yin Chuan used the 19th blade, and a huge amount of energy was injected into the Jade Emperor sword. Not enough. Yin Chuan looked ferocious. Rumble. More astral power rushed into Yin Chuan's body. Crack. Cracks appeared on Yin Chuan's body and blood kept flowing. Apparently, the astral power had reached Yin Chuan's limit, and Yin Chuan's body was about to explode. However, the evil Yin Chuan didn't care at all. He was still staring at Wei Bing. Die! Yin Chuan said fiercely. The 10,000 swords shot towards Wei Bing. Ah! Even though Wei Bing had put up a wall of air, the 19th blade was too powerful. It broke through all of Wei Bing's defenses. The 10,000 swords exploded. Boom! Wei Bing exploded. Buzz! The 10,000 swords became one. Dong! Yin Chuan fell into the lake from the sky. Wei Bing and Wei Ding were smashed into pieces. The lake sank by half and the trees and mountains were in a mess. It was a difficult battle. The starlight pillar suddenly disappeared. However, the cracks on Yin Chuan's body did not disappear. He had already suffered hundreds of sword wounds, but now thousands of cracks had appeared on his body. He crawled out of the lake weakly. This time we've killed them all. The weak man smiled evilly. After looking around, Yin Chuan took a step forward and shot towards the forest again. Due to his heavy injuries, his speed was not fast. Not long after Yin Chuan left, a large number of practitioners gathered by the lake again. Countless outer sect Xiozha arrived at the large lake. There was a battle here. The mountain over there has also been flattened. It's at least a battle in the divine realm. Could it be Yin Chuan? Impossible. Yin Chuan is only at the essence stage. Only at the mastery level. He's only in the essence state. My father wasn't even born yet. Let's keep looking. Yin Chuan, Wei Bing, and Wei Ding should be nearby. The sky gradually brightened. A day's time was almost up. On this day, Yin Chuan killed countless people. On this day, many people remembered Yin Chuan's name because of the Blood Devil's descent. On this day, countless experts were fascinated by the unequal and gorgeous battle. Yin Chuan shuttled through the forest. His whole body was covered with wounds. It was almost to the point where there was no intact skin. The speed of shuttling through the forest was not fast at all. The blood fog that surrounded Yin Chuan gradually dissipated. His blood-red hair also gradually shortened and turned from its original blood-red color to black. He ran through the forest with his hair disheveled. His blood-red pupils also gradually recovered. The supernatural power slowly faded away. Gradually, Yin Chuan returned to himself. He returned to his original state. Walking out of the blood demon state, Yin Chuan immediately felt a bone-piercing pain from the injuries on his body. Chapter 306. Hiss! Yin Chuan gasped in pain. He stopped beside another huge lake and weakly used the Jade Emperor's sword to prop himself up so that he would not fall. Looking at his reflection in the lake, Yin Chuan could barely keep his eyes open. This day, Super Yin Chuan? Haha, I'm too reckless. I don't care about my own safety. I don't like this feeling. Yin Chuan smiled bitterly. Hiss! It hurts. I haven't been so seriously injured in a long time. Yin Chuan smiled weakly. Gradually, Yin Chuan felt that he could not hold on any longer. He slowly turned his head and walked towards a large rock not far away. Shing! 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 The Jade Emperor sword quickly slashed at the large rock. In the blink of an eye, the large rock was hollowed out. The hollowed-out space was just enough for a person to lie down. Yin Chuan slowly laid down in the cave while holding the half stone that he had taken out. He used the half rock to block the entrance of the cave. The rock was natural again. If not for the tiny cracks on the rock, no one would have noticed that it had been tampered with. Even though Yin Chuan was weak, he did not forget about his own safety. Before he could not hold on any longer and fainted, he found an unexpected hiding place for himself. In the cave, Yin Chuan smiled bitterly. I'm seriously injured. I hope I can recover a little when I wake up. Yin Chuan said with a bitter smile. Slowly, Yin Chuan stopped resisting the sleepiness brought about by his weakness and gradually closed his eyes. Just as he closed his eyes, two bird cries suddenly came from the outside world. Hiss! Hiss! In a daze, Yin Chuan trembled slightly. Blue One? The voice of the Blue One? Yin Chuan had a vague idea. However, his injuries were too serious, and he was too weak to wake up. Two blue wands pulled a caravan down by the lake. It was the blue wand that Yin Chuan had entered the Demonwind mountain range to search for. Xingwan stopped at the lakeside. On the platform of the caravan, 10 men with stiff faces slowly got out of the car and knelt on one knee to welcome the people in the car. 2 maidservants pulled open the curtain, and a woman in white slowly stepped out. The woman in white held a jade flute in her hand. She looked like a white lotus that had just emerged from the water, spotless. Walking to the edge of the car, one of her subordinates knelt on the ground and used his back as a stool for her to slowly step down from the car. There were 4 maids serving her. Phew! The woman in white exhaled slightly. Swish! In the distance, a white light shot over. Io, heavenly maiden, can't you wait for me? At the very least, I sent you the news and the invitation card. He's chasing me to death. Bang! The white light landed on the ground, revealing a man in a white robe. The boy was holding a folding fan in his hand and was panting heavily. It was obvious that he was in a hurry to catch up. The man was slightly plump and had a fleshy face. His breathing gradually calmed down, and he turned to look at the white-clothed woman with a serious expression. Heavenly maiden, why did you stop here? The man's voice was magnetic. While being serious, he looked extremely righteous. Although he was slightly plump, he still had a scholarly temperament. Dongfang Jingyi, stop pretending. Young mistress isn't in the mood to scold you, and you're still shamelessly following us? A maidservant said disdainfully. As soon as the maidservant said that, the man in the scholarly robe squinted his eyes and smiled. With this smile, the original righteousness suddenly disappeared. That smile, coupled with his slightly oily face, immediately made people think of the word cheap. Chapter 307. Hee, so you've seen through me. I follow the goddess because I want to listen to her teachings. Not everyone has that honor. Since the goddess has come to the east, as the host, how can I not receive her well? Dongfang Zhengpai smiled. But this smile, no matter how one looked at it, felt fake. This wasn't something that was done. It was just the surface of the face that made people feel this way. Oomph! The maid snorted. But the white-clothed woman ignored her. Xiaolan, gently open this rock. He's inside. The white-clothed woman pointed at the rock where Yin Chuan was. Yes. The maidservant immediately stepped forward and searched the rock. She saw a small crack and pulled out the rock. Yin Chuan was lying unconscious on the rock. Miss, he's really inside, Xiaolan said excitedly. Xiaolan gently moved Yin Chuan out of the cave. Dongfang Zhengpai looked at Yin Chuan, then at the white-clothed woman. Goddess, you're too amazing. You found him even like this? I, Dongfang Zheng faction, have never submitted to anyone. You are the first. My respect for you is like the waters of the Milky Way, endless and unending. Truly, it is my honor to be able to meet the Holy Maiden. Holy Maiden, please accept me as your disciple. I realize that only your teachings can enlighten a stubborn person like me. You are. Dongfang Zheng faction's voice was filled with nausea. The surrounding maids all revealed looks of disgust as they looked at Dongfang Zhengpai with disgust. You want to betray the Julu Academy? One of the maids couldn't take it anymore. Julu Academy? The Julu Academy is like a floating cloud to me. I don't care about it, as long as the goddess. Dongfang Zhengpai continued his long speech. Enough! The white-clothed woman frowned and shouted. Seeing the white-clothed woman frown, Dongfang Zhengpai immediately shut up. Then, he looked at Yin Chuan with a serious expression, as if he hadn't said anything. The maids looked at Dongfang Zhengpai with strange expressions. This person changed his attitude too quickly? What a scumbag! Holy Maiden, it's this kid. As soon as he entered the Demon Wind mountain range, he went around telling everyone that you stole his heaven tier cultivation technique. He caused a huge commotion in the Demon Wind mountain range. It's retribution for him to be injured like this. A heaven tier cultivation technique? Why didn't he ask around? Did the Holy Maiden need a heaven tier cultivation technique? As long as the Holy Maiden opens her mouth, there will be countless experts begging to gift the Holy Maiden a heaven-grade cultivation technique. Dongfang Zhengpai scolded Yin Chuan. Help me over. The woman in white said softly. Yes. The 4 maidservants immediately supported the white-clothed woman and slowly walked towards Yin Chuan. Although the white-clothed woman's eyes were bright, everyone knew that her eyes were unable to see. He needed 4 maids to be his eyes. Holy Maiden, what's there to see about this brat? Dongfang Zhengpai didn't understand. The white-clothed woman slowly squatted beside Yin Chuan and gently stroked Yin Chuan's face with her palm. This is bone-touching. Dongfang Zhengpai watched curiously. Miss, this person is targeting you. Do you know him? A maidservant asked curiously. The white-clothed woman shook her head and said, I don't know him. However, his bone structure is extremely strange. It's the first time I've seen such a thing. Extremely strange bone structure? There's a bone structure in this world that Miss doesn't know about? The maidservant said in shock. At this moment, the unconscious Yin Chuan seemed to have woken up in a daze. He opened his eyes in a daze. His vision was hazy, and he happened to see the white-clothed woman's face. Rower, it's really you. Rower, you're alive? Rower! Yin Chuan shouted in a daze. As he shouted, Yin Chuan weakly closed his eyes again and fainted again. Fuck, this brat is so daring. He even dares to take advantage of the holy maiden? Dongfang Zhengpai said in shock. Miss, he seems to know you? He even called you Rower? The maidservant said in shock. I'll make an exception and use thought steal to protect me. The white-clothed woman said softly. Protect? Don't worry, holy maiden. With me, Dongfang Zhengpai, around, no one can disturb holy maiden. Dongfang Zhengpai immediately shouted. The white-clothed woman's subordinates looked at Dongfang Zhengpai strangely. Yes, miss, don't worry. Everyone immediately nodded. Chapter 308. Yin Chuan was lying on a large rock. The lady in white stretched out her slender right hand and pointed her index and middle finger at Yin Chuan's heart. Her fingertip glowed with a green light. Wang! Her fingertip touched Yin Chuan's heart. Everyone stared at the two of them. Mind reading. Dongfang Zhengpai swallowed his saliva as he watched. His eyes were filled with envy. After an instant's time, the lady in white frowned slightly. Miss, what happened? A maid asked curiously. This person's heart is too guarded. I can't decipher his thoughts. The lady in white frowned. What? Mrs. Mind reading has never failed before. The maid exclaimed. Try again. The lady in white frowned. Wang! Her fingertip glowed with a green light and touched Yin Chuan's heart. Bang! As if struck by lightning, Yin Chuan's body trembled slightly. Then, he opened his eyes in a daze. Roa, you're back. Yin Chuan said in a daze. After speaking, Yin Chuan fainted again. Who is Rower? The maid asked curiously. Shut up, I saw it. The lady in white suddenly shouted. Everyone's face turned solemn and no longer spoke. Only Dongfang Zhengpai slightly moved away. Mind reading was both envious and fearful, because this ability could see into the other person's heart. That was the deepest secret. Under this ability, there was nowhere to hide. Kid, good luck. Dongfang Zhengpai moved further away. The lady in white closed her eyes and slowly saw an image. An endless white snowfield. The sun shone brightly, and it was exceptionally dazzling. Yin Chuan brought a lady in white, and slowly stepped onto the white snowfield. The woman in white had a cloth covering her face. With Yin Chuan supporting her, they walked in step by step. Have we arrived? The lady shouted. Zhenro, we're almost there. Don't open your eyes. Yin Chuan laughed. When the white-clothed woman looked at the woman who looked exactly like her on the snowfield, a surprised expression appeared on her face. Miss, what did you see? The maid asked curiously. However, the woman in white didn't say anything and continued to watch. On the white snowfield. All right, open your eyes. Yin Chuan smiled. Done? You covered it up for so long, really? Zhenro immediately took off the cloth, and her entire person was stunned. Snow. Why is there snow here? Zhenro was pleasantly surprised. Under the illumination of the sun, heaven and earth were the same color, pure white. Zhenro's mood was immediately lifted by the clean visual impact. So much snow, so beautiful, so beautiful. In front of Yin Chuan, Zhenro wasn't reserved at all. Instead, she followed the feeling in her heart and jumped around, intoxicated. Bang! A snowball hit Yin Chuan. Ha 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 ha. Zhenro's laughter was left behind in the vast snowy plains. After a while, Yin Chuan grabbed Zhenro's hand. Did you specially bring me here to play? How did you find this place? Zhenro asked curiously. I arranged this. Do you like it? I like it, but why did you arrange it? Today is an important day. I arranged this snowfield to bless us. I wish that our relationship will always be as clean as this snowfield. Forever untainted by dust. Forever untainted by any color. Yes. Jinro blushed. Chapter 309. Rower, let the snowfield bear witness. Marry me. Yinchuan held Jinro's hands and said softly. Ah. Jinro covered her mouth and looked at Yinchuan in surprise. Okay. Yinchuan stared at Jinro, biting her lips. Jinro pretended to be calm and said, You didn't give me anything. You want to marry me? What do you want? Flowers, at least a big bouquet of fresh flowers. Did you forget? Everyone else is like this. Jinro's voice trembled. You like roses? Yes. Splatter. There seemed to be a soft sound coming from all around, and a burst of fragrance came to her nose. Then, blue rose petals fell from the sky and landed on Jinro's face. Blue roses? Jinro was surprised. Turning around, the vast snowfield disappeared. In an instant, everything disappeared. The snowfield turned into a grassland full of flowers. In all directions there were red roses, white roses, pink roses, purple roses, blue roses, and so on. At a glance, one couldn't see the edges of the flowers. One couldn't see the end of it. It was as if one was in a sea of flowers. Ah! Jinro looked at the grassland roses in surprise. In the sky there were hundreds of clouds. The clouds were all piled up by flower petals. They sprinkled down continuously. The sky was covered with Jinro's favorite roses. Ah, how can it be? How can there be so many? How can there be so many? Jinro exclaimed. The country's roses are all here. Yinchuan said with a smile. All. This is the blessing of the whole country. They wish that our relationship will be so fragrant that it will last forever. Yinchuan said softly. Marry me. Yinchuan said affectionately. The expression of the woman in white who used thought steal changed. It was as if she was there. Marry me? It was as if Yinchuan was asking her. How can this be I? The woman in white had a complicated expression. Miss, what's wrong? The maid asked in surprise. I'm fine. The woman in white said with an ugly expression. She had never used mind reading before. She had always watched from the perspective of a third party. However, at this moment, the white-clad woman felt like she was in Jinro's shoes. Could it be because they looked the same? The woman in white frowned. Hundreds of flowers fell, and all the roses in the country gathered together, covering the entire grassland like snowflakes. It was a world full of flowers, until the sky gradually darkened. Yinchuan and Jinro sat together slowly. There were roses everywhere, but as the sky darkened, the roses gradually disappeared. Who? Suddenly, a wide candle appeared in the sea of roses. A bunch of flames lit the candle. It illuminated a small cluster of petals. Who? More and more candles appeared. In the blink of an eye, they covered the entire grassland. Sitting on a small hill, Lin Fan looked around. The countless flames were like stars in the sky, adding a bewitching beauty to the night. Picking up a candle beside her, Jinro's eyes were slightly blurred. What is this blessing? The candle is our life, and the flame is our feelings. This is a blessing. Our feelings will always be bright and burning until the end of our lives, until the candle is exhausted. In this life, I will take good care of this flame and never let it go out. Yinchuan said gently. That's great. Jinro slowly leaned into Yinchuan's arms. Chapter 310. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, countless candles flew into the air. Countless flower petals also flew into the sky. Even the snow below the petals flew into the sky, and gradually gathered in the distant sky. She could vaguely see many people casting spells, but Jinro ignored all of this. 3 things flew into the sky, and gradually gathered together. White snow as the base, roses as the background, and candlelight as the center. In midair, they formed a vast flower. A beautiful flower that no one had ever seen before. This is the last gift I thought of for you. I call it the 3 lives flower. 3 lives, 3 worlds, never to be separated. Marry me. Yinchuan said gently again. Yes. The white-clothed girl who used thought steal suddenly responded. Miss, what did you say? A group of maids asked in confusion. The white-clothed girl's face revealed a trace of anxiety. What happened to me? Why did I agree? Miss, Don't disturb me. The white-clothed girl shook her head. Jinro agreed to Yin Chuan. A grand proposal came to an end. The scene suddenly changed. Husband, this is what my father prepared for me. I heard it's delicious. Let me feed you. The two ate. In the blink of an eye, Yin Chuan's face was flushed red. What is this? Even poison ivy can't dissolve it? Yin Chuan shouted in shock. Jinro vomited blood and collapsed. Husband, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Jinro cried weakly. It's not your fault. I understand. You'll be fine. Yin Chuan was in a state of madness. Husband, rower will leave first. You must take care of yourself. You'll be fine. Don't close your eyes. Yin Chuan hugged Jinro and cried. Husband, I still remember the 3 lives flower you gave me that day. It's so beautiful. In a series of so beautiful, Jinro cried and closed her eyes. No. The white-clothed girl who used thought steal suddenly had tears in her eyes. Miss, you're crying? Why are you crying? The maidservant exclaimed. Dongfang Jingpai also looked at the white-robed woman in shock. Heavenly maiden, haven't you already cut off all your emotions? Didn't you say you would never? Dongfang Jingpai exclaimed. The white-clothed woman ignored the crowd and continued watching. On the screen, Liangjing, outside the Demon Wind mountain range. Hum. The blue wand pulling the carriage suddenly appeared in front of Yin Chuan. Jinro stepped out. The dead Jinro once again appeared in front of Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan was dumbfounded. Rower, you're still alive? Otherwise, why would you appear before me? The scene suddenly stopped. The white-clothed woman lifted her finger from Yin Chuan's chest. He stood there in a daze, his expression extremely complicated. Miss, are you all right? The maidservant asked worriedly. After taking a few deep breaths, the woman in white shook her head and said, I'm fine. Then who is this rower? The maidservant asked curiously. He mistook me for someone else. I'm a woman who looks a lot like me. The woman in white shook her head. Miss, how should we deal with this person? She slandered you and deserves to die. Should we? The maidservant said coldly. No. The woman in white shook her head immediately. The woman in white didn't know why she stopped the maidservant. After a moment of silence, the woman in white shook her head and said, Let's not bother about him. We have our own matters to attend to. He just mistook me for someone else. Then, Dongfang Jingpai. The woman in white shouted. Yes. What orders do you have for me, heavenly maiden? Dongfang Jingpai immediately said. I know you want a protective talisman. Take care of him for me. When he wakes up, I'll bring you one the next time we go to Jilu Academy. The woman in white said indifferently. A protective talisman? Don't worry, heavenly maiden. I'll take good care of him like a son. Dongfang Jingpai immediately promised. The woman in white frowned. No, you're wrong. He's my grandfather. I'll take care of him like a grandfather. Dongfang Jingpai promised again. Also, don't tell him who I am. The woman in white sighed softly. Yes, I will. Dongfang Jingpai said excitedly. Let's go. The woman in white said indifferently. Yes. Everyone nodded. Ing. The green wand let out a long cry and flew away with everyone. Only Dongfang Jingpai and Yin Chuan were left by the lake. Dongfang Jingpai turned around and looked at Yin Chuan. What the hell? Kid, what are you thinking? You actually let me earn a protective talisman? And you even made this ice maiden cry? Amazing. When you wake up, you must tell me. Dongfang Jingpai looked at Yin Chuan in amazement. Chapter 311. At the Day Sect. Inside the main peak's Great River Hall, Feng Tairan and Duan Sanshu were sent back. The 3 peak masters looked at the two. Duan Sanshu's body was filled with golden needles, and he was in a state of suspended animation. Zhu Jiansheng was accompanying him. What? Yin Chuan was left alone in the Demon Wind mountain range? Nonsense! Emma Wuhui shouted. Master, martial uncle wanted it himself. We couldn't persuade him. Zhu Jiansheng sighed. Persuade? If he couldn't persuade him, why didn't he kidnap him? Why be polite to him? Emma Wuhui said angrily. Kidnap? But Zhu Jiansheng was at a loss. Wu Hui, it has nothing to do with Zhu Jiansheng. Yin Chuan didn't want to come back. Feng Tairan said weakly. Sect Master. Mo Wu Hui frowned and looked at Feng Tairan. Whoosh! A figure appeared outside the Great River Hall. Sect Master, Peak Masters, there's news from the Demon Wind Mountain Range. An excited voice came from outside the hall. Come in, Feng Tairan shouted. Soon, a Dae sect disciple entered the hall with a happy face. What news? Mo Wu Hui asked doubtfully. It's news from Sky Peak Master, Martial Uncle Yin Chuan. What? Tell me. Yes, some cultivators who came out said that Martial Uncle Yin Chuan could turn into a blood demon and kill everyone in the Demon Wind Mountain Range. He killed almost 6,000 cultivators from the Life League. The person said excitedly. Nonsense, 6,000 cultivators? Mo Wu Hui said in disbelief. Yes, it's only been a few days. What kind of joke is this? Feng Tianyu said. It's true. I asked several cultivators to confirm it. 5,700 Essence Realm cultivators and 300 Qi Realm cultivators were all killed by Martial Uncle. Martial Uncle is too powerful. It's true. Mo Wu Hui. Feng Tairan. Zhu Jiansheng. It seems like we don't have to worry about Martial Uncle's safety, Zhu Jiansheng said. Are you kidding me? Killed 6,000 cultivators? Feng Tianyu also said with a strange expression. The father is a pervert, and the son is also a pervert. Gao Bufan said in astonishment. Mo Wu Hui and Feng Tairan secretly sighed. Demon Wind Mountains. Gigi. Gigi. He could vaguely hear the chirping of birds. Yin Chuan, who had been unconscious for an unknown amount of time, finally opened his eyes. Looking up at the sky, it was still as blue as before. Touching the ground with his hand, he realized that he was lying on a mattress. Bed? Yin Chuan's muddled thoughts immediately sobered up. He remembered that he had dug a cave and hid inside it. How did he end up here? Phew. He suddenly stood up. He patrolled the surroundings. That's right, it was the large lake from that day. Beside it was a large rock with a cave that he had carved out himself. Buzz! At the side, the Jade Emperor sword trembled slightly. Yin Chuan narrowed his eyes and quickly recalled the scene at that time. Before he fainted, he heard two birds chirping. In Roa. I think I saw Roa. Yin Chuan's pupils suddenly shrank. Before he could check his body, Yin Chuan stood up, grabbed the Jade Emperor sword and looked around. Roa, is that you? Yin Chuan asked anxiously. After looking around and confirming that there was no one around, Yin Chuan's expression became slightly anxious. Hee. Vaguely, there seemed to be a series of wretched laughter coming from afar. Yin Chuan raised his eyebrows and immediately calmed down to listen in the distance. Hee, wow, so big, so big. The voice became more and more wretched. Chapter 312. Whoosh! Yin Chuan instantly determined the location. It was halfway up the mountain. There was a lot of grass there, and it was impossible to see what was inside. Yin Chuan held the Jade Emperor sword and walked up the mountain. In the blink of an eye he was near. He parted the grass and saw a figure in a scholar's robe with his back facing him. A man in a scholar's robe was lying in the thick grass. It was as if he could see the scenery at the foot of the mountain through the grass. TSK, how did you grow so big? My eyes are dazzled. Wahee! The man in the scholar's robe was immersed in his own world and laughed wretchedly. Yin Chuan looked at the man in the scholar's robe in confusion. He did not know what the man was looking at. Out of curiosity, he waved the Jade Emperor sword in front of him. Whoosh! A large amount of grass was parted, revealing the scenery in the distance. In the distance there was a small lake. In the small lake, there were 7 or 8 naked women bathing in the lake. Their breasts and buttocks were shaking. They splashed water on each other and played with each other. Huh! Yin Chuan's face froze. Bathing? He withdrew the Jade Emperor sword, and a large number of branches were thrown at the man in the scholar's robe. Ouch! The man in the scholar's robe stood up straight and turned his head to look at Yin Chuan angrily. However, when he saw Yin Chuan, his anger disappeared and his face was full of righteousness. Oh, Prince Yin is awake. Dongfang Jing faction greets you. The man in the scholar's robe bowed solemnly. If he had not seen the man's wretchedness, Yin Chuan would have been deceived by his righteous appearance. Dongfang faction? Are you peeping on women bathing? Yin Chuan frowned. Ridiculous. Dongfang faction immediately shouted. Ha! I Dongfang faction read the Book of Sages. How could I do such a despicable thing? Dongfang faction shouted shamelessly. You read the Book of Sages? Yin Chuan laughed. Of course I am a scholar. How can you slander me? Dongfang faction said righteously. Scholar? Then what were you looking at just now? Yin Chuan laughed. This is appreciation. Do you understand? Dongfang said anxiously. Admire? Appreciation should be done openly, not hiding in the dark. Yin Chuan shook his head. Looking at Yin Chuan, Dongfang expression changed. He immediately revealed a wretched smile and said, Oh, looks like I've misunderstood. Turns out we're kindred spirits. You want it too? Yin Chuan's face twitched. At this moment, Yin Chuan had a preliminary understanding of this person's lewdness. With a solemn expression, Yin Chuan asked, Was it you who took me out of the cave? Hearing Yin Chuan's question, Dongfang expression flickered. That's right. You were injured to such an extent because of my care. You have no idea how many medicinal pills I used these past few days. Let me do the math. 10 tranquility pills, 20 survival pills. More than 100 pills. I've seen shameless people, but I've never seen such a shameless person. Yin Chuan was amused by his shamelessness. Medicinal pills? There's nothing in my stomach. How can there be any medicinal pills? Yin Chuan laughed. That's because the medicinal pills were melted. That's why you didn't feel it. Dongfang continued shamelessly. Yin Chuan shook his head and said, I can give you these medicinal pills. However, you have to tell me who that lady is. Dongfang naturally knew that the lady was the one who found Yin Chuan some time ago. However, Dongfang had promised not to say anything. Which lady? You mean the one who was bathing? Dongfang panicked. Chapter 313. Now that Dongfang Jingji had said that, he could no longer hide his identity. Scholar? Yin Chuan laughed sarcastically. Dongfang Jingji's face turned red, but he quickly retreated. I don't know who you're talking about. Dongfang Jingji said. I just want to know who she is, and I'll give you another 100 upper-grade spiritual stones. Yin Chuan said seriously. 100. Dongfang Jingji's eyes lit up. That's right. Dongfang Jingji shook his head and said, I'm a scholar. Money is like dirt to me. I'll keep my promises. 1,000 upper-grade spiritual stones. Yin Chuan said again. 1,000. Dongfang Jingji's eyes shone with greed. Do you have it? Dongfang Jingji said disdainfully. I don't have it with me, but the Day sect has it. Yin Chuan said confidently. 1,000 upper-grade spiritual stones? Dongfang Jingji gritted his teeth and said, I'm a scholar. 10,000 upper-grade spiritual stones. Yin Chuan said again. Really 10,000? Dongfang Jingji said excitedly. You can write it down. Yin Chuan laughed. I'm a tia. Dongfang Jingji could not bring himself to say it. Sigh. Forget it if you don't want it. Yin Chuan shook his head. Don't. She doesn't want me to tell you who she is, but I can tell you something else. Dongfang Jingji said hurriedly. Something else? Yin Chuan asked. Yes. Aren't you looking for her? I can tell you where she is. You can go and find her yourself. Dongfang Jingji said immediately. Oh, now all the experts are rushing to the ancient seal. She's going as well. I can bring you somewhere nearby, and you can find her yourself. Dongfang Jingji said immediately. Yin Chuan shook his head and said, No need. I have my own map. Since you don't have any other information about her, forget it. Don't let me think. Dongfang said anxiously. Yin Chuan naturally didn't leave, but waited patiently. Oh, I remember now. It's like this. You might not be able to see her this time. After all, the gap between you and her is too big. However, there is a place where you can definitely see her. Definitely. Dongfang said with certainty. Oh, I personally sent her an invitation to the Jiulu Academy. In 4 years, She will definitely attend the Julu Academy's Heavenly Bestowal Conference. Dongfang Junpai smiled. The Julu Academy's Heavenly Bestowal Conference in 4 years? Yen Chuan's expression froze. Not bad. What do you think of this news? You will definitely be able to see her. Although I didn't tell you who she is, I did tell you something. Even if I give you a discount, look at the spirit stones. Dongfang Junpai laughed. If it's true, you won't be left out. Yen Chuan nodded. Really? 10,000 high-grade spirit stones? Dongfang Junpai exclaimed in surprise. Yes. God of fortune. I knew you were a good person. Dongfang Junpai smiled fawningly. Aren't you a scholar? Don't you see money as dirt? Yen Chuan smiled. What's wrong with being a scholar? I like dirt. So what? Dongfang Junpai said directly. Ha ha ha, don't worry, I will give it to you. In 4 years, at the Julu Academy's Heavenly Bestowal Conference. Yen Chuan smiled. What? For years? Dongfang Junpai's expression froze. Why, you don't want it? Of course, why not? 4 years it is. Dongfang Junpai said with a conflicted expression. Just as the two were talking, suddenly, there was a loud shout above their heads. How dare you peek at me bathing? Chapter 314. Beside a lake in the Demon Wind mountain range, Yen Chuan washed off the bloodstains on his body and changed into a set of scholarly robes from Dongfang Junpai. Although Dongfang Junpai's character was not good, he had a spatial treasure which surprised Yen Chuan. After washing off the bloodstains and changing into the scholarly robes, Yen Chuan sat cross-legged on the shore and meditated for a while. After killing nearly 6,000 cultivators, the energy absorbed by the Jade Emperor's sword actually increased my cultivation? Level 5 of the Essence Realm? Yen Chuan opened his eyes and looked at his palms. Dongfang Junpai also had a lot of pills. After buying a few on credit, the scars on his body had mostly disappeared. After tying up his hair, Yen Chuan slowly stood up. Whoosh! Not far away, Dongfang Junpai turned into a ray of light and shot towards him. Quick, quick! That old woman is coming again. Dongfang Junpai shouted anxiously. Again? Didn't you solve it last time? You peeped on her bathing. Didn't you compensate her later? Yen Chuan was confused. It's not her, it's the other one. Fuck, it's still an old woman. I must have been blind last time. My name is legendary. Dongfang Junpai cried out in grief. Get away from me. Yen Chuan shouted. Fuck, you're just going to watch me die. Dongfang Junpai's face turned ugly. I never cover for a slut. Yen Chuan shook his head. Just you wait. Dongfang Junpai soared into the sky in grief. Seeing Dongfang Junpai fly away, Yen Chuan revealed a strange smile. Pervert, stop right there. Return my innocence. Another shout came. Yen Chuan turned his head and saw an old woman with a face full of wrinkles, holding a walking stick and chasing after Dongfang Junpai. Her face was filled with shame and anger. An old woman. Fuck. Yen Chuan's face twitched. Ignoring the fleeing Dongfang Junpai, Yen Chuan climbed up a mountain not far away. Standing at the peak of the mountain, Zhang Xian flipped his hand and took out a map. Phew, we're almost there. Yen Chuan said solemnly. Yen Chuan carried the Jade Emperor sword on his back and followed the map's guidance. He took a step forward and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Without the Life Alliance chasing after them, their speed was a lot faster. Not long after, they arrived at a nearby mountain peak. Yen Chuan looked at a huge area not far away that was shrouded in thick fog. He carefully checked the map and exhaled. We're here. Yen Chuan's expression relaxed, and he discarded the map in his hand. Just as he was about to step into the fog, Yen Chuan's eyes suddenly narrowed. No, Yen Chuan said in surprise. Looking at the foggy area, Yen Chuan looked around. 64 main peaks? Gathering the chi of heaven and earth? Yen Chuan said in surprise. This isn't some ancient seal. This is an immortal's tomb? It's the same as the immortal's tomb that I opened in my previous life. Hiss. Yen Chuan sucked in a breath of cold air. Yen Chuan clenched his fists and became serious. One must know that in his previous life, he put in all his effort to open the immortal's tomb. Moreover, the surrounding mountains and rivers of the tomb were too similar to the one in his previous life. He He took a deep breath. Yin Chuan made up his mind and stepped down the mountain again, heading towards the foggy area. After walking for a short while, Yin Chuan stopped in his tracks. In a depression in the mountain, Qi was rampant. Yin Chuan, who was about to continue on his journey, paused and walked towards the depression. The depression was very hidden, and it was surrounded by Qi. It looked very eerie. This is? Yin Chuan took a closer look. At this moment, there were 3 white skeletons kneeling in a circle amidst the gloomy Qi. Chapter 315. When Yin Chuan arrived, the 3 skeletons suddenly turned their heads to look at Yin Chuan. Their appearance was extremely horrifying. Mouth of Qi? Is this caused by a feng shui master? Yin Chuan said in a deep voice. Yin Chuan did not barge in, and the 3 skeletons did not come out. Yin Chuan slowly retreated and quickly checked the surroundings. Not long after, he saw another mouth of Qi. Yin Chuan became more and more dignified. He circled the periphery of the fog area and quickly searched. After searching, he actually found nearly 100 mouth of Qi. What a powerful feng shui master, Yin Chuan said in surprise. In his mind, he unconsciously thought of a person. It was Feng Yinyang, who he met in Liangjing City. Could it be him? Yin Chuan frowned and said. After thinking for a while, Yin Chuan no longer bothered about this matter. Instead, he took a deep breath and took out a compass. It was a silver compass. It was the compass left behind by the poisoner in Liangjing City after his death. Looking at the compass, Yin Chuan used his finger to force out some essence blood. The essence blood dripped into the heavenly pool in the center of the compass. The compass immediately started to spin slowly. The compass lightly pressed on a big rock. Buzz! A compass mark appeared on the big rock. Once again, he used the essence blood to write a strange symbol on the mark. Whoosh! The mark disappeared, as if it had seeped into the rock. Using the same method, Yin Chuan found nearly 100 rocks and did the same thing. While doing it, he walked towards the fog area. Gradually, Yin Chuan disappeared from the forest and stepped into the fog area. And when Yin Chuan disappeared, a black-robed figure suddenly appeared in front of one of the rocks. The black robe was embroidered with wisps of clouds. It was Feng Yinyang, who Yin Chuan met once. Feng Yinyang looked at Yin Chuan's back. After a moment of silence, he turned his hand and gently waved it at the rock in front of him. Buzz! The mark that seeped into the rock suddenly appeared again. He knows feng shui too? What kind of symbol is that? Feng shui comes from the north and south. Feng shui sects have ancestral courts in the north and south. No, this is not the method of the north, nor is it the method of the south. Furthermore, this Yin Chuan is not a feng shui practitioner. For someone who doesn't cultivate feng shui to be able to use it so skillfully, this technique must be extremely mature. Is there a third school of feng shui in the world? Feng Yinyang said in surprise. Watching Yin Chuan disappear into the fog, Feng Yinyang was silent for a long time. Yin Chuan. With the experience of his previous life, Yin Chuan did not hesitate and quickly entered the depths of the fog. After passing through dozens of miles of dense fog, they suddenly stepped into the central fog-free region. The boundless fog suddenly disappeared. His vision suddenly cleared up. 10 mountain peaks surrounded a broken mountain in the center. Broken Mountain seemed to have been cut in half. The mountain had a diameter of 10 miles, and there was a large blue light shield above it. It was as if a hemispherical barrier covered the top of Broken Mountain. Within the barrier, there were 108 large rocks. On each rock, there was a pitch-black door that seemed to be connected to the inside of the mountain. At the center of Broken Mountain, there was a high platform. At this moment, there was a green and transparent person sitting on it. The transparent person sat cross-legged. Strong winds blew around him and gathered around him. No, it was as if this transparent person was formed by countless winds. The transparent person was like an inanimate object. He quietly sat cross-legged on the high platform and looked down at the 108 pitch-black doors. Yin Chuan stepped onto one of the surrounding mountain peaks and also saw the surrounding scenery. At this moment, there were thousands of people gathered on the 10 surrounding mountains. Not only were there humans, but there were also demons. The north and south were facing each other. The south was full of cultivators. Leading them was the noble Guyu Holy Sun. Behind him stood 4,000 cultivators. All of them looked very serious. The north was full of demons. Leading them was the arrogant Yao Tianshang. Behind Yao Tianshang stood 8 human-shaped great demons, and about 4,000 demon kings. Wolves, snakes, bears, leopards, everything that one could think of was there. All of them had an imposing aura. Neither Guyu Holy Sun nor Yao Tianshang stepped into the center of Broken Mountain. Perhaps they had already stepped in, but they didn't. Yao Tianshang faced off against Guyu. The two of them stared at each other coldly. They were ready to fight at any moment. Yin Chuan's sudden appearance immediately eased the tense atmosphere between the two sides. Almost at the same time, everyone's eyes suddenly gathered on Yin Chuan. A look of surprise flashed across Yao Tianshang's face. Guyu Holy Sun's eyes narrowed. He also looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. Yin Chuan, you are not dead yet. Wei Chei's expression changed. Clearly, news of blood demon Yin Chuan had not arrived yet. Perhaps the people following Yin Chuan had not arrived yet. Looking at Wei Chei, Yin Chuan revealed a cold smile. Alliance Master Wei, you sent the entire sect to hunt me down. How generous. Humph. Brat, you are lucky. To think that you managed to make it here alive. However, your good days are over, Wei Chei said coldly. As Wei Chei spoke, he clenched his fists. It looked like he wanted to attack and kill Yin Chuan. Hey, Brother Yin, why are you only here now? A voice suddenly came from the crowd. A scholarly robed man quickly walked out from the crowd of cultivators. It was Dongfang Jingpai. Huh. Everyone felt slightly confused. You arrived early? Yin Chuan said with a frown. Of course. I can fly. And you can only walk. I will definitely be faster than you. Dongfang Jingpai said with a smile. What about that old woman? Yin Chuan asked with a smile. Dongfang Jingpai's expression froze. Who are you? Wei Chei said coldly. Dongfang Jingpai stood beside Yin Chuan and looked at Wei Chei. This one is the great scholar of the Jilu Academy, Dongfang Jingpai. Greetings, fellow cultivators. Great scholar. Gasps of surprise came from the crowd. Jilu Academy? Wei Chei said with a frown. Humph. You say that you are the great scholar of the Jilu Academy, and you are? Why haven't I heard of you before? Wei Chei shouted. The Jilu Academy was a huge mountain. If he didn't move it away, Wei Chei wouldn't be able to make a move on Yin Chuan. When Rua Brat, tell him who I am. Dongfang Jingpai shouted at Mr. Monroe. The moment Dongfang Jingpai spoke, everyone looked at Mr. Monroe. After all, many people knew that Mr. Monroe was the young master of the Jilu Academy. Greetings, Mr. Dongfang. Mr. Dongfang is indeed the great scholar of the Jilu Academy. Mr. Monroe said with a bitter smile. Wei Chei's expression changed. Did you hear that? If you continue to be impudent, you will be declaring war on the Jilu Academy. Dongfang Jingpai shouted. Wei Chei's expression froze. Guyu Holy Sun stared at Dongfang Jingpai. He smiled faintly and said, Dongfang Jingpai? What are you doing here? Are you representing the Jilu Academy to compete with me? The moment Guyu Holy Sun spoke, everyone fell silent. Dongfang Jingpai's expression changed. He smiled and said, How could I? How could I compete with the Holy Sun? I was just passing by, so I came to take a look. You guys continue. Chapter 316. Dongfang Jingpai's expression changed. He smiled and said, How could I? How would I dare to compete with the Yu Holy Sun? I was just passing by and decided to take a look. You guys continue. Guyu Holy Sun was satisfied with Dongfang Jingpai's fawning expression. Then, the ancient moon Saint Sun looked at Yao Tianshang again. Yao Tianshang looked at Guyu Holy Sun with a smile. Guyu, we monsters have finished another round. Now it's your turn. Yao Tianshang said calmly. Guyu Holy Sun's expression darkened. What do you mean? Yin Chuan asked Dongfang Jingpai. You don't know. We came too late. The monsters have already broken in, and more than half of them died. Dongfang Jingpai said softly. Oh, I heard that something big has happened to this place. It's different from before. There's a treasure inside the seal, and we can only get it by breaking the outer defense. That's why Yao Tianshang and Guyu haven't attacked yet. Do you see the blue barrier on top of Broken Peak? Dongfang Zhengpai said. Yin Chuan looked at the barrier on top of Broken Peak. Yin Chuan was familiar with the barrier. In his previous life, when he opened the Immortal's tomb, he experienced the cruelty of the barrier. Countless people died in that battle before he could find the way. The blue barrier is also known as the Immortal's domain. Once you enter, your cultivation will be sealed. Other than your physical strength, you won't be able to use any magic power. This is also why Guyu and Yao Tianshang didn't dare to enter. Dongfang Zhengpai explained. There are 108 gates at the peak of Broken Mountain. Only one of them leads to the interior of the seal. But up until now, no one has been able to find it. Of these 108 gates, other than the one that's the correct one, the others are all teleportation gates. They teleport you to the sky, where you'll be bombarded by lightning. You don't know this, but the previous batch of demonic beasts risked their lives to charge in. In the end, they were teleported high up in the sky. Dark clouds covered the sky, and lightning rained down. Yin Chuan nodded and secretly exhaled. It was the same as the Immortal's tomb that had been opened in his previous life. Yin Chuan also knew that the defense was still in operation. The 108 doors didn't look like anything on the outside, but the interior was constantly changing. In other words, the only entrance was always different. This was the conclusion reached after sacrificing countless soldiers in his previous life. Yin Chuan naturally wouldn't tell anyone. Actually, the previous batch of demonic beasts wasn't too bad. The main problem was the invisible man on the high platform in the center. Did you see that? That's the invisible man formed by the wind. He controls the Immortal's domain. Once someone barges in, his wind blades will be like a storm, reaping the life of the intruder. He's the Grim Reaper. Dongfang Zhengpai explained. How many batches of demonic beasts have there been? Yin Chuan asked. I'm not sure. But when I arrived, the demonic beasts had barged in. Dongfang Zhengpai shook his head. Looking at Broken Mountain in the center, Yin Chuan's heart skipped a beat. Jinro didn't appear. Yin Chuan's thoughts turned to the items in the Immortal's tomb. When he opened the Immortal's tomb in his previous life, the treasures inside were earth-shattering. This time, he actually saw the same tomb again. Because of his previous experience, Yin Chuan knew all the traps inside. Yin Chuan alone was able to walk into the deepest part of the forest without breaking a sweat. However, his cultivation in this life was too low. How could he obtain the treasures in front of so many people? Moreover, there was a feng shui master waiting outside. Chapter 317. During this time, Guyu Holy Sun swept his gaze over the crowd. Guyu Holy Sun's gaze made many people nervous. After all, if they went down, it was likely that they would be finished. Choose one person from each of the sects that came with me. They must enter. Guyu Holy Sun said in a low voice. Ah! Everyone exclaimed. Regardless of life or death, I will bestow an earth-grade technique to your sect. Whoever finds the entrance will be given a heaven-grade technique. If anyone dares to refuse, I will wipe out their entire sect. Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Holy Sun! Everyone exclaimed. However, under Guyu's cold gaze, no one dared to resist. Discuss among yourselves, Guyu Holy Sun said in a low voice. Yes, the cultivators helplessly discussed who should go. Holy Sun, those two over there, although they aren't with us, aren't they? Wei Che whispered to Guyu Holy Sun. As he spoke, Wei Che looked coldly at Yin Chuan and Dongfang Zhengpai. If Wei Che wanted Yin Chuan dead, the Zhu Immortal domain was the best place to do so. Besides, Wei Che knew that Guyu Holy Sun wanted Yin Chuan dead, so he went with the flow. Guyu Holy Sun glanced at Wei Che. Naturally, he knew what he was thinking. He sneered, then turned to Yin Chuan and Dongfang Zhengpai. Wei Che wanted to kill Yin Chuan just now. Did you, Dongfang Zhengpai, want to protect him? Guyu Holy Sun asked indifferently. Haha. A friend asked me to take care of him. Holy Sun, please don't worry. Dongfang Zhengpai laughed apologetically. In that case, I'll treat him as if he's with the Julu Academy. You heard what I said just now. Now, I want him to enter the Zhu Immortal domain and find the entrance. Guyu said indifferently. Him? Holy Son, please don't do that. We're just passing by and are here to take a look. We won't be joining you. Dongfang Zhengpai pleaded. But what if I insist? Guyu Holy Son said in a low voice. This, Holy Son, how about you give the Julu Academy some face? Today, I really don't want anything to happen to him. Dongfang Zhengpai pleaded again. In Yin Chuan's eyes, he had already done his best. After all, he didn't have any relationship with the Eastern Orthodox faction. No, are you trying to test my patience? Dongfang Zheng sect, I'll say it one more time. This time, someone from your Julu Academy has to go in. If he doesn't want to go in, fine. You can go in. Guyu Holy Son said coldly. If Yin Chuan didn't go in, he would go in himself? Dongfang Zhengpai's expression changed. Dongfang Zhengpai's expression changed and became serious. Holy Son, I've thought about it. You're right. I've protected Yin Chuan once. He should enter the Zhu Immortal domain and find a way to break the array for the Holy Son. Huh. Everyone was taken aback. When they saw Dongfang Zhengpai's serious expression, they thought that he was going to rebel against Guyu Holy Son. Why did he suddenly agree? Did he have any backbone? Did he have any moral integrity? Only Mr. Monroe smiled bitterly. Mr. Monroe knew Dongfang Zhengpai too well. He was a complete scumbag. Guyu Holy Son was also slightly surprised when he heard Dongfang Zhengpai's words. Then, a look of disdain appeared in his eyes. Don't force yourself. Guyu Holy Son mocked. I'm not forcing myself. I'm just saying what's right. Dongfang Zhengpai said righteously. After betraying Yin Chuan in front of everyone, he still had the face to say what's right? Shameless. Scumbag. Cultured scum. Chapter 318. All the cultivators looked at the shameless bastard with disdain. Even the demons looked at Dongfang Zhengpai with disdain. They had seen shameless humans before, but they had never seen such a shameless human before. They had learned something new. Brother Yen, you should know that it's better for you to die alone than the two of us. Don't worry. If anything happens to you, I'll burn incense and light candles for you on Qingming and the 15th. Dongfang Zhengpai said to Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan looked at Dongfang Zhengpai with interest. Yin Chuan did not blame him. After all, Guyu Holy Son had targeted him. Dongfang Zhengpai had already done his best. No worries. Yin Chuan smiled. Yin Chuan looked at Guyu Holy Son. I'll listen to Guyu Holy Son. I'll enter the immortal domain. However, I'd like to ask Guyu Holy Son. Are you really going to do as you say? Do you know how to hide evil? Yin Chuan smiled faintly. Guyu Holy Son glared at him. How dare you? Is the Holy Son someone you can slander? Wei Qin shouted. On the other side, Yao Tianshang looked at Yin Chuan with interest. Yao Tianshang was surprised that Yin Chuan dared to offend Guyu with his essence realm cultivation. It was obvious that he was an ant trying to shake an elephant. However, the more it was like this, the more interesting it was. Hide and tolerate evil? Guyu Holy Son said coldly. Guyu Holy Son said that all the sects have to send one person. What about the Dazhao Holy Son? Also, will the Alliance Master of the Life Moon League be going as well? Yin Chuan smiled at Wei Qin. Bastard, I'm with the Holy Son. Why should I go? Wei Qin shouted. Yin Chuan wanted to drag him down with him? Wei Che immediately looked at Yin Chuan in horror. This brat was still so vicious even at this time? Guyu Holy Son. I'm just an ordinary disciple. I don't count for much. I can represent the Julu Academy. He, Wei Qian, is the leader of the Life League. He can never represent the dazzling Holy Land. Moreover, the Life League is a vassal of the Great Winged Heaven School, not the dazzling Holy Land. Therefore, the Holy Son's decree must be carried out. He, Wei Qian, must also enter the immortal realm. We must. Yin Chuan's voice was sonorous and forceful. Must. It was as if a sharp sword was pressing towards Guyu Holy Son again. Guyu Holy Son's face stiffened. Was this the second time that Yin Chuan was forcing him? Guyu Holy Son hated the feeling of being forced into a corner. He glared coldly at the hateful Yin Chuan. Holy Sun. Wei Che turned around anxiously. Mr. Monroe smiled coldly and stepped forward. Holy Sun. I think that the Holy Sun's decree must be carried out. Since Wei Che is the leader of the Life League, he must enter the immortal realm. Wenrua, you despicable person. Are you trying to hit me when I'm down? Wei Che shouted. Enlightened Master Wei Che, you must be joking. I'm just stating the truth. If you don't enter the immortal realm today, what will the other sects think? Do you want to put the Holy Sun's dignity in front of them? The Holy Sun's words are like heaven's might. Heaven's might is not to be blasphemed. If we let you off today, how many more nets will we open in the future? Who will listen to the Holy Sun's words in the future? Mr. Monroe laughed. You bastard. Wei Che said hatefully. Also, the experts of the Yao clan are watching. You don't want the Holy Sun to be seen as a joke by the Yao clan, do you? Mr. Monroe laughed. Guyu Holy Sun's eyes narrowed when he heard Mr. Monroe's words. He turned to look at Yao Tianshang. When he saw the interest in Yao Tianshang's eyes, Guyu Holy Sun's hesitation dissipated. Wei Che, you go in as well. Guyu Holy Sun said in a low voice. The Holy Sun. Wei Che exclaimed. Go. Guyu Holy Sun glared at him. A powerful aura pressed down on Wei Che. Yes, yes. Wei Che said with an ugly expression. On the other side, Yin Chuan saw that the situation was settled. He smiled at Wei Che and said, Alliance Leader Wei, do you know why I want you to go in as well? Humph. Wei Che harumphed coldly at Yin Chuan. You forced my father to his death, and sent the entire sect to hunt me down. I haven't forgotten this grudge. This is the immortal realm. I will kill you in front of everyone, and use your death to atone for the sins of the Yin clan. Yin Chuan said coldly. As he spoke, Yin Chuan stepped into the immortal realm. Chapter 319. You forced my father to his death, and sent the entire sect to hunt me down. I have not forgotten this grudge. This is the Zhu immortal domain. I will kill you in front of everyone, and use your death to atone for the sins of the Yin clan. Yin Chuan said coldly. As he spoke, Yin Chuan stepped forward, and jumped into the Zhu immortal domain. When Yin Chuan landed, Guyu Holy Sun's eyes were extremely dark. Although Yin Chuan did not target him, he still felt like he was being led around. Guyu Holy Sun hated this feeling. He stared at Yin Chuan, who was descending from the sky. On the other side, Yao Tianshang's expression changed slightly, and he took a deep breath. King Spider. Yao Tianshang said softly. Here. King Spider stepped forward. Investigate this Yin Chuan's background. Yao Tianshang said in a low voice. Investigate him? He's only in the essence realm, and he's about to die. What's the point? King Spider was confused. Yao Tianshang took a deep breath and said, I have a feeling that he won't die. Ah. King Spider was shocked. King Spider did not suspect Yao Tianshang, because Yao Tianshang was King Spider's master. Master, what kind of information do you want from him? King Spider asked. I have a feeling that he's not someone to be trifled with. Investigate carefully. I want everything. Yao Tianshang said seriously. Everything? King Spider looked at Yin Chuan, who was in the sky in shock. In the east, there were only a few people that Yao Tianshang valued so much. How could an essence realm cultivator attract so much attention from Yao Tianshang? Yes, King Spider said affirmatively. Boom. Yin Chuan jumped into the Zhu immortal domain. Suddenly, there seemed to be a strange force sealing Yin Chuan. Boom. Unable to use his essence chi, he fell to the ground and landed heavily, creating a large cloud of dust. Whoosh! On the high platform, the invisible man suddenly opened his eyes and stared at Yin Chuan. Buzz! A blue crescent-shaped blade suddenly appeared out of thin air. The blade seemed to be illusory, yet real at the same time. It was surrounded by a gentle breeze. Apparently, it was condensed by the breeze. Swish! The wind blade instantly shot towards Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan twisted his body and narrowly avoided the wind blade. The wind blade missed, but it did not disappear. Instead, it flew past Yin Chuan and flew back. Furthermore, The wind blade instantly split into two. Once again, he charged towards Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan's expression sank. As he twisted his body, he dodged another wind blade. The Jade Emperor's sword trembled slightly and collided with another wind blade. Boom! Yin Chuan was knocked back a step, but the wind blade was shattered by the sword. Good sword! Mr. Monroe exclaimed, when Ruo knew the sharpness of the wind blade. When a Dharma treasure was not infused with Dharma energy, it could only be destroyed by the wind blade. In the past, many cultivators' Dharma treasures had been shattered by the wind blade. However, Yin Chuan's sword was able to shatter the wind blade based on its material. Wei Qin, why are you afraid? You are an immortal state cultivator. Why are you afraid of me? Ha ha ha. Yin Chuan laughed. Ha 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 ha. On the other side, the group of demons also laughed. Guyu Holy Sun saw Yao Tianshang's mocking laughter from afar, and his expression darkened. Get down, Guyu Holy Sun said in a low voice. Yes, yes, Wei Qin said with a dark expression. Get down, Guyu Holy Sun shouted. Yes, the 300 people around him replied. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The 300 cultivators flew towards the Zhu Immortal realm. As the crowd left, Guyu Holy Sun looked coldly at Yin Chuan. Purple attendant, Guyu Holy Sun said to a purple attendant behind him. Chapter 320. Present. I hate this Yin Chuan. If he dies later, so be it. If he really breaks the formation, kill him. I don't want to see him. Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Yes, the purple-clad attendant replied. Boom. Nearly 300 cultivators fell into the formation. Whoosh. Suddenly, a strong wind blew in the Zhu Immortal domain. The invisible man stood high above as more and more wind blades appeared around him. 100, 1,000, 10,000. 10,000 wind blades rained down on the cultivators like a storm. Rumble. The wind blades rushed toward the 300 cultivators like a river. Dang! 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 The cultivators quickly raised their swords to block the wind blades. The wind blades immediately shattered, but the invisible man restored them in the blink of an eye. The storm rained down like 10,000 arrows, cutting the cultivators into a sorry state. Without magic power or a barrier of energy, the cultivators relied on their sword techniques and saber techniques. Arg! A wind blade instantly severed a cultivator's arm. His sword fell to the ground, and he became a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Save me! That cultivator abandoned his arm and ran toward the edge of the formation. However, it was too late. Nearly 100 wind blades rained down on him. PSSSD! PSSSD! Arg! The cultivator felt like he was being sliced into pieces. Blood spurted out from the pain, and he was reduced to a pile of blood in the blink of an eye. A cultivator died in the blink of an eye. Quick! Go into the gates. Quick! Someone shouted. Rumble! After blocking a large number of wind blades, everyone rushed towards different doors. Wei Chan's sword techniques were excellent. He quickly blocked the wind blades around him and rushed toward a gate. Boom! The wind blades scattered, and Yin Chuan suddenly appeared in front of Wei Chan. Wei Chan's expression froze. Move aside! Wei Chan shouted. Move aside! You know that I want to kill you. And you still want me to move aside? Yin Chuan said with a smile as he blocked the wind blades around him. If you don't move aside, there will be more wind blades. At that time, you will die. Wei Chan said anxiously. Indeed, in just a short while, the number of wind blades increased, and Wei Qin was beginning to feel like he was about to reach his limit. Alliance Master Wei, do you feel anything? Yin Chuan asked with a smile. What? Merit, the merit that you enjoy. Yin Chuan laughed. Wei Qin's expression changed. Is it because of you? Is it because of you? Wei Qin cried out in shock. 6,000 practitioners chased after me. Do you know why they didn't kill me? Yin Chuan said with a smile. Why? Wei Qin's face darkened, as if he had guessed something. You are right. The Life Alliance has suffered a great loss this time. I have killed all 6,000 practitioners. That's why you feel your merit decreasing. Yin Chuan sneered. No, impossible. Wei Qin cried out in shock. Nothing is impossible. Not only that, your life league will be destroyed soon. Do you believe me? Yin Chuan said with a smile. Rumble. As Yin Chuan spoke, yellow light suddenly scattered around Wei Qin's body. A large amount of yellow aura suddenly scattered from his body. How can this be? How can it be like this? My merit, my merit. Wei Qin cried out in alarm as he blocked the wind blades. Because your life alliance has been eliminated from the world. After my men returned, they launched an all-out counterattack against your life alliance. At this moment, they have already uprooted the life alliance, leaving no survivors. Yin Chuan shouted as he blocked the wind blades. Chapter 321. No, that's impossible. Wei Qin cried out in shock. Nothing is impossible. Yesterday's cause, today's effect. Everyone in the Life League is dead. Now it's your turn. Yin Chuan shouted. As he spoke, he swung his sword at Wei Qin. Clang, clang, clang. In the blink of an eye, he arrived before Wei Qin. The Jade Emperor's sword clashed with Wei Qin's sword. Clang, clang, clang. As the swords clashed, Wei Chan's sword was knocked back again and again. Impossible. You are only in the essence realm. How can you be so powerful? It's impossible for him to be stronger than me. Wei Qin exclaimed. Boom. A wind blade scattered Wei Qin's hair, cutting him into a sorry state. My strength is not enough, but my swordsmanship is stronger than yours. Yin Chuan laughed. Clang, clang. Yin Chuan's sword moved faster and faster, forcing Wei Qin toward the high platform where the invisible man was. Vibrating sword. Your sword can vibrate? Wei Qin finally realized that Yin Chuan's sword was different. Alright, it's your turn to die. Yin Chuan sneered. Shing. He swung the Jade Emperor's sword. Boom. Wei Qin's sword was cut in half by the Jade Emperor's sword. Chi. The Jade Emperor's sword did not slow down, and instantly cut through Wei Qin's throat. Wei Qin clutched his throat in horror. He was a God Realm master. How could his swordsmanship be inferior to that of an Essence Realm master? How could this be? Impossible. The scene of Yin Chuan cutting Wei Chu's throat also shocked everyone in the surroundings. Spider King said in surprise. Master, you are right. This person is really extraordinary. Essence Realm? Even if they don't have any cultivation, it's impossible for them to kill a deity. Good sword technique. Yao Tianshang's eyes narrowed. Master rarely praises people, King Spider said in surprise. But he's worthy of praise. It's been a long time since I've seen such a pure sword technique. Yao Tianshang praised. On the other hand, Guyu Holy Sun's face darkened. Cutting Wei Chu's throat with a single slash was like Yin Chuan slapping himself in the face. Although he did not like Wei Qin had come with him. How could he be killed by Yin Chuan in front of everyone? Where did he place himself? Guyu Holy Sun's face turned cold. No, I beg you, let me go. Wei Qin screamed as he clutched his throat. The threat of death instantly filled his heart. Let you go? Why won't you let me go? Don't worry, your death won't be in vain. Yin Chuan glared at him. Boom. Taking a step forward, he used the Jade Emperor's sword to block Wei Qin and shot toward the invisible man. Rumble. In an instant, hundreds and thousands of wind blades shot towards Yin Chuan and Wei Chu. With Wei Chu as a shield, Yin Chuan's speed increased, and a large number of wind blades slammed into Wei Chu's back. Boom, boom, boom. Wei Qin's back was instantly sliced into 1,000 pieces, and his flesh was badly mangled. In an instant, there was no sound. Yin Chuan stepped forward and charged at the invisible person with Wei Qin's corpse. Boom. While the transparent person was panicking, Wei Qin's blood instantly dyed the transparent person. The transparent man let out a cry of pain. He used Wei Qin's empty shell to block the invisible man's counterattack. Yin Chuan suddenly slashed out with the Jade Emperor sword in his hand. Break! Boom! Wei Qin and the invisible man were instantly cut in half. The transparent man screamed. With a loud bang, it exploded, and a fierce wind blew in all directions. The surrounding wind blades were immediately scattered by the strong wind. The invisible person was insta-killed? Boom! The transparent man was instantly killed, and the outer barrier also exploded. The Zhu immortal domain exploded? Someone exclaimed. Broken? The invisible man was killed just like that. Isn't it unkillable? It's not that it's unkillable. It's just that we didn't know how to kill it in the past. It turns out that we have to stain its body with fresh blood to kill it. Yanchuan killed the invisible man? Countless cultivators looked at the scene in shock. At the same time, they were eager to make a move. Once the Zhu immortal domain was broken, what came next would be easy. The ancient seal was about to be opened. Get ready. Yao Tianshang's face turned serious. Yes. The group of monsters replied. Yinchuan. Yinchuan broke it. Guyu Holy Sun still couldn't believe it. Holy Sun. Be careful of Yao Tianshang. The purple-robed man beside him shouted. Get ready, get ready. Guyu Holy Sun quickly shouted. Mr. Monroe, on the other hand, narrowed his eyes and stared at Yinchuan. Yinchuan recognized the feng shui formation last time. Could it be that Yinchuan also recognized the ancient seal this time? Otherwise, how could he have broken it so easily? Mr. Monroe stared at Yinchuan. The moment he saw Yinchuan kill the invisible man, he shot toward a door. Chapter 322. Rumble. The moment the Zhu immortal domain exploded, Broken Mountain started to shake violently. All the experts in the surroundings waited with rapt attention. Whoosh! As Broken Mountain shook, an extremely powerful aura was emitted. What the fuck? What is that thing sealed? Why is it so terrifying? Dongfang Zhengpai exclaimed. The human cultivators were slightly better off. Although they were suppressed by the powerful aura, they were more excited. The seal was broken, and the treasure inside was about to come out. On the other side, the experts of the demon race were all shocked. Master, this is the aura. This is the aura. It's too terrifying. Is it targeted against us demons? Master, many of my subordinates can't take it anymore. They can't move at all. Only a few of us emptiness realm demons are doing better. The group of great demons had ugly expressions. The treasure was indeed powerful, but this was not right. Why was it suppressing the demon race even more? Only Yao Tianshang was clenching his fists. His eyes were shining with excitement. Rumble. Many people on Broken Mountain retreated. The original 108 doors seemed to have disappeared. It was as if the entrance had disappeared. After one layer of restriction was broken, another layer opened. More than half of Broken Mountain collapsed, sinking more than 1,000 feet. After 1,000 feet, golden light shone in all directions. On the peak of Broken Mountain, there was 1,000 feet long golden blade. On the blade there were two dazzling words. Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer? Spider King exclaimed. Demon Slayer? Is this an immortal artifact targeted against us demons? Another great demon exclaimed. Immortal artifact? It is indeed an immortal artifact. And it's no ordinary immortal artifact. I can feel it. It's so powerful. Yao Tianshang said excitedly. Rumble. Large amounts of rocks floated in the air, as if they were lifted by the aura of the 1,000 feet long golden blade. Holy Sun. The thing in the seal is indeed powerful. The aura of the Demon Slayer is too strong. I feel that only the three Tao Lord's personal treasures can compare to it. A man in purple said respectfully. The Tao Lord's personal treasures? Guyu Holy Sun's eyes lit up. Boom. Without hesitation, Guyu Holy Sun soared into the sky. Rumble. After Guyu Holy Sun, the group of experts took action and protected Guyu as they charged towards Demon Slayer. Humph. Yao Tianshang snorted coldly as he took a step forward. The group of great demons followed suit and charged towards Demon Slayer. Before he even arrived, Yao Tianshang's face had already turned ferocious. He clenched his fists and punched in Guyu's direction. Boom. Suddenly, a golden fist that was 100 feet large appeared in the sky. Following Yao Tianshang's hand gesture, the fist smashed toward the other side. Before the 100-meter-long golden fist arrived, a strong gust of wind was already blowing toward them. Some of the weaker cultivators were immediately sent flying. They spat out blood, and their eyes were filled with shock. Yes. Guyu Holy Sun's expression changed. He stretched out his hand and struck out with his palm. A golden palm that was 1,000 feet in size appeared in the void. Hung! The palm and fist collided, producing a dull and loud sound. Boom! 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 The 10 mountain peaks in the outer area exploded under the aftermath of the explosion. The surrounding weak cultivators all spat out mouthfuls of blood, their eyes filled with shock. The power of an emptiness realm expert was so strong that just the aftermath of the attack was enough to make everyone spit out blood. He was too powerful. Chapter 323. We have to get the Demon Slayer at all costs. Yao Tianshang said as his eyes glowed. The Demon Slayer is mine. No one can take it away from me. Guyu Holy Sun also said as his eyes glowed. Both of them refused to back down. Their subordinates and experts all attacked. Rumble. The powerful impact created a storm in the surroundings. Oh my god. Are they still humans? Dongfangjing sect quickly escaped. Dongfangjing sect was not the only one. Many of the weaker cultivators also escaped from the scene and ran towards the outside of the fog. Take my ass. The aftermath of the battle between the Emptiness Realm experts was going to kill them, and they still wanted to take it. All of them spat out blood and rushed out of the fog, escaping further and further away. At the same time, the fog in the center of the area was also rolling under the powerful impact. A mountain was hard to pronounce. The earth was shaking slowly. The black-robed feng shui master, Feng Yinyang, was looking coldly at the cultivators who were escaping. Are they coming out? Feng Yinyang said indifferently. As he spoke, Feng Yinyang formed a strange hand seal with his fingers and chanted a spell that no one could understand. As Feng Yinyang chanted, the yin qi in the surroundings became stronger and stronger. The skeletons in the mountains slowly stood up. After killing the invisible man, Yin Chuan instantly shot towards a large door. Yin Chuan knew that this was the door that led to the inside of the tomb. Moreover, this door would soon close. Phew! After stepping into the door, Yin Chuan entered a pitch-black tunnel. Soon, he passed through the tunnel, and Yin Chuan appeared in a vast hall. In the middle of the hall, there was a huge blade. The top of the blade was touching the ceiling of the hall, and below it was a huge altar. The golden blade emitted a destructive aura. That's right. It is exactly the same as the tomb of the immortals in my previous life. However, in my previous life, the immortal sword pierced the tomb of the immortals, but this immortal tomb is pierced by a golden blade. Yin Chuan took a deep breath. He looked around and saw that there were many squares on the ground. Strange symbols were written on each square. It filled the entire hall. 9 Palaces Maze Formation? Was it the same as in his previous life? Immortal tomb? Why was the layout exactly the same? Mortal tombs were all different, but these 2 tombs were shockingly similar? Could there be a connection? Yin Chuan's frown deepened. Although he didn't understand, Yin Chuan still walked back and forth along the grid. Yin Chuan walked around the hall and around the designated squares. After walking for the time it took for an incense stick to burn, he stopped at one of the squares. Who? Suddenly, a large hole appeared in the ground. Without hesitation, Yin Chuan jumped in. Dong! Soon, Yin Chuan landed on the ground. However, the hole from which he had jumped down had disappeared. The new place was like a new cave. However, the ground was emitting light. It was like a circular plate that was 100 feet in size. The circular plate was transparent, like a crystal plate, but it was emitting a strange light. Inside the huge transparent disc, there seemed to be circles of small white dragons swimming around. What is this? The tomb in my previous life didn't have this. Yin Chuan looked at the transparent disc under his feet in surprise. Although he didn't recognize it, Yin Chuan could feel that it was extraordinary. Unfortunately, this thing was too big, and Yin Chuan couldn't move it. Soon, Yin Chuan no longer paid attention to the transparent disc. Instead, he looked at the center of the cave. In the center, there was a huge bronze coffin. The bronze coffin was 10 feet long. It was as tall as a 10-story building. Chapter 324. The coffin's appearance was simple, and there were not many fancy runes. There were only 4 words on the coffin lid. Sky-burying coffin. Sky-burying coffin again? Yin Chuan revealed a strange smile. In my previous life, the heaven-burying coffin was excavated from the tomb of the Immortals. In the end, it became the coffin of my previous life. I wonder how my body is now lying in the heaven-burying coffin. Yin Chuan sighed slightly. Yin Chuan quickly walked forward and touched the coffin with his hand. No, although it's the same sky-burying coffin, the spirituality of this coffin seems to be slightly weaker than the one in my previous life. Yin Chuan felt for a moment and said, "Slightly weaker? So be it. The treasures in the Immortal's tomb in my previous life were in the coffin. Today's coffin should not disappoint me." Yin Chuan took a deep breath and said, "Rumble." Yin Chuan pushed the coffin lid. The coffin lid was very loose. With some force, Yin Chuan was able to slowly push it open. The coffin lid was pushed open. Suddenly, an ancient wild aura hit him in the face. Yin Chuan's heart tightened, and he stared at it. Inside the coffin, there was a white tiger that was 10 feet in size lying on the ground. The white tiger was lying on its side. It was already silent, but even if it was dead, its corpse could still emit a wild aura. It made one's heart palpitate. It's similar to my previous life. In my previous life, there was an immortal lying in the coffin, but here is a demon immortal? Once this coffin is opened, in less than 3 days, the white tiger will disappear with the wind. Yin Chuan thought for a moment. Bang! Yin Chuan jumped into the coffin and searched everywhere. After searching for a while, "That's impossible. Why isn't there anything?" Yin Chuan frowned. He kept searching, but there was no treasure that Yin Chuan wanted. In my previous life, there was an immortal's secret treasure in the coffin. Why is there nothing here? Don't demons need to be buried with them? Yin Chuan's expression was extremely ugly. Yin Chuan did not believe that he would return empty-handed. He carefully searched again, but after a round of searching he still found nothing. Yin Chuan looked at the huge white tiger with an ugly expression. "Goyalu." Suddenly, a strange voice sounded. Yin Chuan's pupil shrank as he looked at White Tiger. White Tiger's stomach was moving. His stomach was moving again. Yin Chuan's face suddenly changed. Could it be that the White Tiger was still alive? He carefully examined the White Tiger and confirmed that it was really dead. But why was her stomach? Yin Chuan looked at the wriggling stomach again in surprise. It was as if there was something in his stomach that was slowly moving from his abdomen to his chest. Gradually it moved to the throat. Yin Chuan held the Jade Emperor sword with a guarded expression. Gradually, the White Tiger's mouth trembled slightly. It was as if something was about to come out of its mouth. Yin Chuan lightly flicked the Jade Emperor's sword. The tiger's mouth opened, and a bloody thing rolled out from within. 2 fist-sized balls, and a trembling kitten covered in blood? A cat. The kitten seemed to have just been born. Its entire body was trembling. On its head, it was strangely wearing a small round felt hat. A kitten wearing a small felt hat? Meow! The kitten cried out pitifully. Yin Chuan's face was extremely strange. He thought of many possibilities, but he never thought that a kitten would crawl out of the White Tiger's corpse. Trying to walk closer, Yin Chuan grabbed the kitten and placed it in his palm. The kitten seemed to be extremely weak. Suddenly it felt someone grab it. It opened its big blinking eyes and looked at Yin Chuan in confusion. Meow! The kitten cried out in confusion. The kitten was confused. Yin Chuan was even more confused. What was going on? The kitten seemed to like Yin Chuan very much. Its bloody body rubbed against Yin Chuan's palm, and then suddenly bit on Yin Chuan's finger. Yin Chuan's face darkened. He was about to break free from the kitten. Clan contract. This is a monster clan contract. Yin Chuan was surprised. That was because as the little cat bit down, a golden light flashed at the tip of its finger. In the air, a 10-foot round wheel suddenly appeared. Within the round wheel, there was the image of a huge tiger. It was a white tiger. The tiger looked exactly the same as the White Tiger's corpse in the coffin. Next, a human figure suddenly appeared next to the White Tiger. It was Yin Chuan's human figure. The round wheel spun for a while. After spinning, it suddenly entered the kitten's body. At the same time, the kitten greedily sucked the blood from Yin Chuan's finger. It drank about a teacup's worth of blood before it was satisfied and stopped. Meow! The kitten cried out weakly and fell asleep. Clan contract. Who are you? Yin Chuan looked at the sleeping kitten in surprise. Chapter 325. Meow. The kitten meowed weakly and fell asleep. Clan contract. Who exactly are you? Yin Chuan looked at the sleeping kitten in surprise. Meow. The sleeping kitten meowed as if it was talking in its sleep. Even though it had fallen asleep, the kitten was still trembling, as if it was afraid of something, or had a nightmare. A clan contract for monsters. Only monsters with extremely high bloodlines have the right to have a clan contract. Once the clan contract is signed, I will have the power of this kitten's bloodline. Then, as long as the kitten's bloodline is lower than its, it will not be able to make things difficult for me. I can even summon this kitten through some secret method? Yin Chuan looked at the trembling kitten in his palm. Unfortunately, I don't know how to summon it. Why did you choose me? Could it be that you want me to bring you out? Yin Chuan frowned as he looked at the kitten. Don't worry. Even without this clan contract, I will bring you out. Although I didn't sign any clan contract in my previous life, my national beast was the tiger. You are related to the tiger clan. Naturally, I will not ignore you. Yin Chuan took a deep breath and said, Bang! Yin Chuan jumped out of the sky-burying coffin. After thinking for a while, he pushed the coffin lid back. Rumble! The coffin lid returned to normal. Yin Chuan squinted his eyes as he looked at the sky-burying coffin. Although this sky-burying coffin is not as good as mine, it is still a rare treasure. Unfortunately, I can't take it away. Yin Chuan sighed. Even if he brought the spatial scroll, it wouldn't be able to contain this treasure. Walking to the edge of the cave, he held the kitten with one hand and took out the Jade Emperor sword with the other. The Jade Emperor sword slashed. Boom! Not a single mark was left on the wall. Yin Chuan was pushed back by the force. The surroundings are still filled with poison. It's not time to go out yet. Yin Chuan frowned. Outside. Boom! With a loud bang, 9 huge tornadoes appeared around Yuanduan Mountain, sweeping up endless mountain rocks and rushing into the sky. On both sides of the broken mountain was a huge light screen. On the other side of the screen was Guyu Holy Sun and a large number of experts. On the other side was Yao Tianshang and the other demons. Both sides were pushing against the light screen, and the two enormous forces were suppressing each other. Rumble! Guyu Holy Sun's expression was extremely ugly. The light screen was slowly pressing towards him. On the other side, Yao Tianshang's face was hideous as he sneered. Ha 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 ha, does Yao Holy Ground, Holy Sun? I, Yao Tianshang, have overestimated you. Yao Tianshang, Guyu Holy Sun said with an ugly expression. Yao Tianshang ignored Guyu Holy Sun and reached out to grab Demon Slayer. When his palm touched Demon Slayer, it emitted a dazzling golden light. CICI. Demon Slayer strongly resisted Yao Tianshang. It even burned Yao Tianshang's palm. Blood splattered everywhere. My lord! King Spider exclaimed. Ha ha ha, it's fine. Good treasure. Suppress them for me. Once I take out Demon Slayer, you want to kill me? Be my slave soldier. Yao Tianshang glared at them. Roar. Yao Tianshang roared. Golden light shot out from his hand, and a huge force was released. Rumble. Demon Slayer was slowly pulled out. When Demon Slayer was pulled out, the surrounding mountains shook. Rise. Yao Tianshang's body turned red as Demon Slayer was slowly pulled out. The ground shook, and the mountains shook, radiating out in all directions. 5 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers. Chapter 326. The entire Demonwind mountain range shook violently. Be it humans or demons, everyone in the Demonwind mountain range felt an extremely destructive aura. The mountains in the surroundings shook violently, causing countless cultivators to feel an indescribable fear. Both the Yao and the human race fled the Demonwind mountain range. The earthquake in the entire Demonwind mountain range had completely exceeded everyone's expectations. Dark clouds covered the sky. When Xiaochen drew his golden saber, the weather changed. Rumble. Dark clouds covered the sky as lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. It was as though they were celebrating the birth of Demon Slayer. "That's mine! That's mine!" Guyu Holy Sun shouted angrily. But the two sides were almost equal in strength, and they couldn't interfere at all. Xing! Yao Tianshang finally pulled out Demon Slayer. Boom! 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 Amidst the dark clouds, tens of thousands of lightning bolts rained down. It was as if the heavenly river was collapsing. Rolling thunder and lightning blasted towards Yao Tianshang. Yao Tianshang's body trembled, and a wild and savage aura erupted, blasting away the 10,000 lightning bolts that were coming from all directions. 10,000 lightning bolts broke free, shooting in all directions, blasting apart countless mountains and rivers. Yao Tianshang grabbed the Demon Slayer, and his eyes flashed with surprise. What a powerful Demon Slayer! Even I can't handle it. "Master, we can't hold on any longer," cried Spider King. Yao Tianshang turned to look at both sides and said, "Let's go." "Understood." The group of monsters answered. Boom! Yao Tianshang grabbed Monster Slayer and soared into the sky. The group of great demons and demon kings all followed suit. "Stop! Leave Demon Slayer behind!" shouted Guyu Holy Sun. As he spoke, he was about to soar into the sky. "Holy Sun, no!" A man in purple shouted. "What are you doing?" Guyu Holy Sun glared at him. The purple-clothed man immediately said, "Holy Sun, that's just a stain. There's still a huge treasure below. If we chase after Yao Tianshang, we might not be able to snatch the Demon Slayer, but—" Guyu Holy Sun immediately sobered up after hearing the purple-clothed man's words. "Holy Sun, look." The man in purple pointed at the sky with an ugly expression. At this moment, the ancient moon Saint Sun finally calmed down. "Dark clouds? This isn't a celestial phenomenon caused by Demon Slayer's appearance, nor is it caused by something sealed inside. Instead, there's an expert lying in wait?" Guyu Holy Sun's expression changed. "Yes, just now, Yao Tianshang managed to break free from the lightning. The strong cultivator hiding in the dark also let Yao Tianshang go. That strong cultivator is inside the seal. There's something he wants inside the seal," said the man in purple clothes. "Oh no." Guyu Holy Sun's expression changed. "Guard the surroundings." Guyu Holy Sun shouted. "Yes," his subordinates replied. Rumble. There were more and more dark clouds, and the sky was getting darker and darker. It was pitch black, as if it was late at night. Ka 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 ka. White bones suddenly crawled out of the ground. Skeletons crawled out of the ground, and a large number of corpses seemed to have come to life. Suddenly, green lights appeared in the air all around, as if ghosts were dancing in the air. It was eerie and terrifying. "Holy Sun, this is a feng shui master, a powerful feng shui master. He can reverse yin and yang, reverse yin and yang," Mr. Wenrua exclaimed. "Reverse yin and yang?" Guyu Holy Sun's expression darkened. "Holy Sun, hurry up and get the treasure. The feng shui master can reverse yin and yang, and many ghosts have been summoned. There must be a large number of ghosts breaking into the seal now. Hurry, hurry, hurry. If you don't hurry, the treasure inside the seal will be stolen by the feng shui master," Mr. Monroe shouted. Chapter 327. When Mr. Monroe yelled, Guyu Holy Sun realized the severity of the situation. His face darkened. He reached out his hand and struck downwards. Boom! A huge force hit the ground, causing countless skeletons to rise from the ground. A hole appeared in the ground, but they still couldn't see what was inside the seal. Bastard, bastard! Guyu Holy Sun kept attacking the seal like a madman, emptying the ground again and again. In the deepest part of the cave, Yanchuan's cave, the moment Yao Tianshang pulled out Demon Slayer, the cave shook violently. Boom! The Jade Emperor's sword hit the cave wall again, creating a huge hole in the wall. Phew! We can finally get out. Yinchuan revealed a slight smile. Ka 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 ka. Suddenly, skeletal claws appeared on the walls of the cave. The skeletal claws appeared from the walls of the cave, as if they were trying to squeeze in. Reverse yin and yang? Is that feng yin yang? Feng yin yang, so this is where you were waiting? Yinchuan said in surprise. Yinchuan took off a small jade talisman from his neck. He looked at the jade talisman and smiled bitterly. This time, it's all thanks to Zizi's Earth Escape talisman. Yinchuan exclaimed. He clenched his fist. Buzz! The Earth Escape talisman emitted a yellow light that covered Yinchuan and Xiao Mao. Yinchuan grabbed the broken Earth Escape talisman with one hand and carried Xiao Mao. He grabbed the Jade Emperor's sword with the other hand and slammed into the cave wall. Buzz! There was no sound of collision. Yinchuan seemed to have entered the cave. It was as if he had entered the bottom of the water, and there was a cover around him that didn't allow water or soil to enter. With the yellow light covering him, Yinchuan advanced smoothly in the soil. Roar! Suddenly, one of the corpses in the ground seemed to come alive and pounced towards Yinchuan. Screech! He swung the Jade Emperor's sword and chopped off the corpse's head. Yinchuan continued forward. As they continued forward, one ghost after another pounced on them. There were skeletons, zombies, and even a ghost. They all rushed towards Yinchuan one after another. Yinchuan kept swinging the Jade Emperor sword in his hand as he tried to escape. There were too many of them, and they were coming from all directions. What Yinchuan saw was only the tip of the iceberg. In the outside world, what Guyu Holy Sun was facing was far more terrifying. The Holy Sun, Guyu Holy Sun, was still facing off against the powerful ghost kings. A dark skeletal dragon was also circling around the immortal tomb. Dark clouds covered the sky as lightning flashed wildly. On the peak of a mountain, Feng Yinyang stood quietly. Heaven-burying coffin. There must be a heaven-burying coffin here. Feng Yinyang's voice was hoarse. Million ghost devils, listen to my command. Search, search, search. Woo 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 woo. More and more ghosts and skeletons appeared. Aside from the group of Emptiness Realm experts, the others were in a sorry state. A large number of cultivators were eaten by the ghosts. Break for me. Boom. Guyu Holy Sun's final attack sent a large number of ghosts flying. Immediately, the cave at the bottom of the cave was exposed. In the cave there was a huge coffin. Below it was a huge crystal-like round wheel. However, a large number of ghosts were roaming around it. Finally, Guyu Holy Sun's eyes flashed with excitement. Heaven-burying coffin? Feng Yinyang's voice was filled with joy from afar. Dark clouds rolled in the sky, and at the edge of the dark clouds, screech. Screech! 2 long screeches of Blue Luan could be heard. Blue Luan pulled a huge chariot and flew towards the center. Chapter 328. The powerful Mohina Djinn beneath the dark clouds. Yao Tianshang held a huge saber in his hand and flew into the sky with a group of demons. Demonic beasts with weak cultivations were carried by the greater demonic beasts. They flew out of the black cloud domain. After leaving the dark clouds, the demons turned around and saw countless ghosts flying around. Another strong person is coming? King Spider exclaimed. He flew towards Yao Tianshang. Master, the seal has just been opened. Why are you leaving so early? King Spider asked in confusion. Another strong person is coming, Yao Tianshang said in a low voice. The feng shui master who summoned the ghosts. No, he will appear soon. I don't have the ability to compete with him now, but one day, I will surpass him. Yao Tianshang said coldly. Yes. Moreover, I have enough power with this demon slayer. Even with my current strength, I can still suppress it. Yao Tianshang laughed. Demon slayer? My lord, this is clearly targeting us demons. It will cause more harm to us demons. Why does Master care so much about this saber? King Spider asked in confusion. Have you forgotten my great wish? Yao Tianshang said in a low voice. Ah, since I, Yao Tianshang, am a demon, I will also become the ruler of all demons. I will build a vast demon country and let all the demons in the world worship me. This demon slayer saber will be the foundation of all demons." Yao Tianshang shouted. "Yes." The group of demons replied respectfully. Yin Chuan was underground. Screech. Boom. The Jade Emperor sword slashed at the incoming ghosts again and again. As he fled outside, more and more ghosts appeared. Gently, he placed the sleeping kittens in his clothes. Yin Chuan tried his best to break out of the encirclement. He did not go to the surface. Instead, he ran underground, getting further and further away from the original tomb. Buzz! Suddenly, a ghost in a black robe blocked in front of Yin Chuan. Another zombie! Yin Chuan's face darkened. He slashed with the Jade Emperor sword again. Boom! The zombie retreated slightly. However, he was not killed. Instead, he once again charged towards Yin Chuan. Copper corpse. His face darkened. Not wanting to tangle with the copper corpse, Yin Chuan quickly ran towards the outside world. However, the copper corpse seemed to have locked onto Yin Chuan and quickly chased after Yin Chuan. The copper corpse was a high-level ghost. Wherever the copper corpse passed, the number of low-level ghosts decreased. He chased after them, and soon they were far away. Humph! Yin Chuan snorted coldly and turned around to face the unforgiving copper corpse. With a slight lift of his left sleeve, the poisonous vine seed on his wrist was revealed. The seed was growing bigger and bigger. Swish! A bunch of vines quickly emerged and instantly wrapped around one of the copper corpse's arms. Swish! Swish! A large number of vines emerged and constantly wrapped around the bronze corpse's body, arms, legs, head, and waist. In the blink of an eye, the bronze corpse was wrapped up like a seed. The vines were still very weak at the moment, but there were too many of them. The copper corpse could not break free for a while. The copper corpse kept twisting its body, trying to break free. However, it could not break free. "Keep tormenting you," Yin Chuan said disdainfully. Roar! Vaguely, Yin Chuan heard the sound of Qing Wan. Yin Chuan, who was about to continue escaping, suddenly stopped. "Qing Wan? Jinro." Without hesitation, Yin Chuan quickly floated to the surface. Half of his body emerged from a valley and looked into the distance. Chapter 329. In the distance at the center of the tomb, the world was pitch black and countless ghosts danced about. Bone dragons circled about, roaring as their vast auras spread out in all directions. Guyu Holy Sun and his subordinates struggled to fend off more and more ghosts. Bastard, bastard! 10 bone dragons surrounded Guyu Holy Sun. Each of them breathed out a dark blue aura that formed a giant dome, trapping Guyu Holy Sun in the center. The ghostly aura couldn't harm Guyu Holy Sun, but Guyu Holy Sun was still trapped. Guyu Holy Sun's expression was ugly, and so were the others. In the middle of the ghosts, a giant Qingwan pulled a carriage. The carriage was also surrounded by a large number of bone dragons. However, the 10 men on the carriage swung their fists and sent the bone dragons flying. The ghosts couldn't get close. The Qingwan carriage floated in the air. A woman in white slowly stepped out of the carriage and stood in the air, looking down at the tomb. 100 skeletons slowly flew out of the tomb, carrying a giant sky-burying coffin. "Bastard, that's mine!" Guyu Holy Sun roared. However, there were too many ghosts. Guyu Holy Sun's subordinates could only protect themselves. As far as the eye could see, there was no end to the number of ghosts. There was no telling when this would end. The bone dragons circled and the ghosts swarmed. The sky-burying coffin was quickly carried to a mountain peak not far from where Yin Chuan was. At this moment, Yin Chuan realized that there was a man in a black robe standing at the peak of the mountain. His black robe was embroidered with faint clouds. It really is Feng Yingyang. Is the feng shui formation so powerful? Yin Chuan's eyes flashed. But soon, he looked at the woman in white on the Qingwan carriage. Yin Chuan frowned deeply. At this moment, Yin Chuan couldn't leave at all. Yin Chuan would be fine if he was underground, but once he was above ground, he would have to face millions of ghost demons. Millions of ghost demons were like the heavens themselves. There was no way for Yin Chuan to return. Bastard, bastard. In the distance, Guyu Holy Sun smashed a bone dragon with his fist. However, there were 3 more bone dragons surrounding him. Guyu Holy Sun could not free himself. His expression was extremely ugly. On the mountain peak, Feng Yinyang let out a faint laugh. I've finally found the heaven-burying coffin. Feng Yinyang sighed. The heaven-burying coffin was slowly brought over. The surroundings were pitch black, and yin and yang were inverted. This was Feng Yinyang's world, and Feng Yinyang was the ruler here. Just as Feng Yinyang was looking at the approaching heaven-burying coffin with satisfaction. Hong! The dark clouds in the sky suddenly let out a deafening sound. Ka 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 ka. The thick dark clouds in the sky suddenly cracked, and rays of golden light shot out from the cracks. Hong! Another deafening sound came from the Immortal graveyard. A huge hole was created in the dark clouds by a powerful force. Golden light shone down from the hole, and it was extremely dazzling. Through the hole, one could see a vast sun above the dark clouds. The condensed sunlight formed a huge pillar that shot straight through the hole in the dark clouds. Wherever the golden light passed, the ghosts and devils fled in all directions in pain. A pillar of sunlight broke through the dark clouds? Father! Guyu Holy Sun said with joy. Rumble! A figure in a golden Taoist robe slowly descended from the golden light pillar. The man in the Taoist robe was golden all over. On his back, there was a huge wheel that looked like a sun behind his head. Virtuous wheel? Is this the virtuous Dharma idol? A clone? Yen Chuan's expression changed. Taking a closer look, the man in the Taoist robe did seem to be both real and illusory. Moreover, his face couldn't be seen clearly, and there was only a majestic aura. The moment the man in the Taoist robe appeared, a terrifying aura was released. Ka 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 ka. Under this powerful aura, countless ghost demons knelt down in fear, as if they were afraid of an expert who was releasing this aura. Even though they were far away, Yen Chuan's expression darkened. This aura is almost on par with my previous life, Yen Chuan said in surprise. Wherever the man in the Taoist robe went, the ghost demons all retreated. Greetings, Mohina Dojin. On the Qinghuan carriage, the lady in white bowed slightly. The man in the Taoist robe looked at the Qinghuan carriage. So it's you, little girl. Why have you come to my east? Mohina Dojin said calmly. I've deduced that there is something I need here. I'm here to fight for it. The lady in white said quietly. Oh. Mohina Dojin was puzzled. It should still be down there, that round plate. The lady in white said. As she spoke, she waved her hand, and the crystal round plate that was originally 100 feet underground suddenly floated up. The round plate was extremely transparent, but there were small white dragons circling around it like airflow. What is this? Mohina Dojin asked. The heavenly divination plate. It's only useful in our hands. Mohina Dojin has accumulated good karma, so he naturally doesn't need it. The lady in white said softly. Doesn't need it? I can't give it to you even if I don't need it. Guyu Holy Sun shouted. Shut up. Mohina Dojin shouted coldly. Fa. Father. Guyu Holy Sun said in shock. Mohina Dojin looked around, then looked at the sky-burying coffin in the distance. The black-robed Feng Yinyang was extremely anxious at this moment. Tens of thousands of ghosts and demons rushed towards the sky-burying coffin. Around the sky-burying coffin, the yin qi suddenly increased by more than 100 times. The rolling yin qi gradually formed a pitch-black hole under the sky-burying coffin, and it was about to pull the sky-burying coffin into the hole, opening the door to the netherworld. Humph. Mohina Dojin's Dharma power stepped down slightly. Rumble. It was as if the infinite power of the sun was being pulled down and poured into the ground by Mohina Dojin's Dharma power. Boom! With Mohina Dojin's feet as the center, the ground instantly turned red. Splash! The original ground turned into rolling lava in the blink of an eye, and a vast lava pool was formed. Wherever the lava passed, ghosts and demons were annihilated in pain. The lava pool expanded rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, it reached the sky-burying coffin. At the sky-burying coffin, the door to the netherworld that was opened by the infinite yin qi was instantly destroyed by the extreme yang qi. Ah! Woo woo woo! Ow ow! Ah! The ghostly creatures wailed as they were incinerated into nothingness. The powerful Tao monarch Black Sun destroyed Feng Yinyang's plan with just a single stomp. No. Feng Yinyang was anxious. He immediately rushed forward and charged at the sky-burying coffin. Humph! Mohina Dojin snorted. Roar! Inside the magma, a flame dragon suddenly roared out, smashing ruthlessly towards Feng Yinyang. Boom! Although Feng Yinyang's feng shui was powerful, his cultivation was far inferior to Mohina Dojin's. The flaming dragon charged and sent Feng Yinyang flying backward, crashing into a mountain. Boom! The towering mountain collapsed in an instant. Feng Yinyang was buried alive in the blink of an eye. Chapter 330. Boom! Rubble flew everywhere as a large number of rocks rolled down and buried Feng Yinyang. Pfft! Feng Yinyang spat out a mouthful of blood. Mohina Dojin was one of the top figures in the world. Even if it was just an avatar, it was still extremely powerful. Although Feng Yinyang's feng shui was strong, he was powerless in the face of absolute power. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Feng Yinyang smiled bitterly as he looked at the falling rocks. The sky-burying coffin. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. In the outside world, the lava continued to spread in all directions and rushed toward the broken mountain where Feng Yinyang was. Yang energy soared into the sky, and Feng Yinyang had nowhere to run. After all, it was impossible to open the door to the netherworld with yang energy. Not far away, Yanchuan narrowed his eyes. He took a deep breath. Instantly, he dived into the ground. Rubble flew everywhere, and Feng Yinyang could already feel the heat waves from afar. Mohina Dojin? Is he trying to kill us all? Feng Yinyang said bitterly. Propping himself up, Feng Yinyang prepared to break through the rubble and escape. Although the chances of escaping were slim, he still had to try. Swoosh! Suddenly a vine wrapped around Feng Yinyang. Feng Yinyang was slightly surprised. Swoosh! Feng Yinyang was instantly pulled into the ground. It's you! Feng Yinyang looked at the person in front of him in surprise. It was Yanchuan. Earth Escape Talisman. You actually have an Earth Escape Talisman. Feng Yinyang exclaimed. This is not the place to talk, Yanchuan shouted. As he spoke, the light of the Earth Escape Talisman enveloped the two of them, and they were about to escape. Just as they were about to leave, Yanchuan's expression changed. Swoosh! Not far away, the copper corpse that had just been bound by the vines was pulled over. Boom! The copper corpse was kicked out. Yanchuan carried the heavily injured Feng Yinyang and quickly fled into the distance. Behind them was a surging heat wave. The two of them sped up again and again. Rumble! In the blink of an eye, the place where Feng Yinyang had been buried alive had been melted by the boiling lava. Roar! The black-robed copper corpse floated to the surface of the magma. It struggled in pain for a while before it was quickly incinerated. Guyu Holy Sun snorted coldly from afar. Obviously, he thought that the bronze corpse was Feng Yinyang. Feng Yinyang was also dead. Zhang Xian stretched out his hand, and the heaven-burying coffin flew over. Father, Guyu said solemnly. Lie! The lid of the coffin immediately opened, revealing the massive corpse of a white tiger. Mohina Dojin checked for a while and waved his sleeves. Bang! The corpse of the white tiger was immediately incinerated and turned into ashes in the blink of an eye. There's only one corpse? Guyu frowned. This is an ancient corpse. After countless years, the corpse has been eroded. However, this coffin is not bad. You can keep it. Mohina Dojin said indifferently. Yes, thank you, father. Guyu said respectfully. Guyu looked at the other transparent disc, the heaven-projecting disc. Father, this heaven-projecting disc you must. Guyu said expectantly. Mohina Dojin did not look at Guyu. Instead, he looked at the white-clothed lady who was pulling the blue wand. Lass, take this heaven-projecting disc back. Mohina Dojin said indifferently. Fa father. Guyu said in surprise. Mohina Dojin glanced at Guyu indifferently and ignored him. Thank you, Mohina Dojin. the white-clothed lady said solemnly. She pinched her fingers slightly, and a white light suddenly shot onto the heaven-projecting disc. The heaven-projecting disc rotated slowly, and overlapping patterns appeared in the surrounding void. Then, the heaven-projecting disc gradually shrank until it was the size of a palm and landed on the white-clothed lady's palm. Chapter 331. Mohina Dojin, thank you for your help. I'll take my leave now. The lady in white said solemnly. Mohina Dojin nodded. Screech, screech. The two blue wands let out a long screech and pulled the carriage of people toward the north, disappearing in the blink of an eye. The dark clouds in the sky slowly dispersed. Feng Yingyang's array was finally broken. Lava was boiling on the ground, and flames were soaring into the sky. Father, why did you give it to her? Guyu was still unwilling to give up. I don't need you to teach me how to do things, Mohina Dojin said lightly. Yes, Guyu replied. You've disappointed me in the Demon Wind Mountains, Mohina Dojin said again. Yes, I'll continue to work hard, Guyu said with an ugly expression. Don't disturb me if there's nothing else. Also, I only injured the geomancer from before. He's not dead, Mohina Dojin said lightly. Ah, Guyu's expression changed. Mohina Dojin looked at the people around him and ignored them. Instead, he looked at the sun in the sky. Boom! Following the pillar of the sun, Tao Monarch Black Sun's Dharma idol soared into the sky and instantly disappeared. The sun's light pillar also disappeared. Farewell, father. Farewell, Mohina Dojin. Guyu led his subordinates and bowed respectfully to the heavenly Tao. Tao Lord Black Sun left, leaving behind a complicated expression on the faces of those who remained behind. Guyu's expression was extremely ugly. After working so hard for so long, he received such an evaluation from his father? Holy Sun, a man in purple shouted. Find that black-robed geomancer. I want to see him if he's alive or dead. Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Yes. Yin Chuan quickly carried the heavily injured Feng Yinyang through the underground. His speed was extremely fast, but after 6 hours, the surrounding light was much dimmer. Yin Chuan knew that the power of the Earth Escape Talisman was about to be exhausted. If it wasn't for the fact that there was one more person, it could still hold on for a while. However, even so, it was enough. Bang! The two of them broke through the ground. It was the foot of a mountain. Who? Leaning against a big tree, the two rested for a while. Feng Yinyang flipped his hand and took out a pill bottle. He poured out a few pills and swallowed them. Yin Chuan also waited patiently for a while. Looking at the distant sky, Yin Chuan sighed. Previously, from Mohina Dojin's tone towards the woman in white, Yin Chuan could tell that Mohina Dojin would definitely not make things difficult for the woman in white. At this moment, several hours had already passed. Thick smoke billowed from the horizon. It was clear that everything was over. He saw Jinro again. Although she did not say a word, seeing Jinro was enough. For years later, Julu Academy, the Heavenly Bestowal Conference? Yin Chuan frowned as he memorized the date. For years later, the woman in white was going. Yin Chuan was definitely going too. They were too similar. They were exactly the same. Yin Chuan even suspected that Jinro had reincarnated. Hence, he had to find out the reason. Who? Feng Yinyang suddenly exhaled deeply and woke up from his meditation. He turned to look at Yin Chuan. I didn't expect that I would be saved by you. This time, thank you very much, Feng Yinyang said solemnly. What do you plan to do next? Yin Chuan asked. Nodding, Feng Yinyang said, I'll leave immediately. This time, I did come to the east to do something important. After everything is done, I'll thank you properly. So urgent. Aren't you going to rest for a while? Yin Chuan frowned. No need. We'll meet again, Feng Yinyang said solemnly. Chapter 332. All right. Yin Chuan nodded. With that, Feng Yinyang took a step and shot into the distance. In the blink of an eye, Feng Yinyang disappeared. Seeing Feng Yinyang leave, Yin Chuan smiled slightly. Feng Shui Master? Feng Shui Masters are indispensable in my country. It seems that my chips are really not enough. However, there will be a day when it will be enough, Feng Yinyang. Yin Chuan smiled as he looked at Feng Yinyang leaving in the distance. Climbing to the top of a mountain, Yin Chuan looked around. It seems that I didn't go the wrong way. This is the way I came. Yin Chuan quickly recognized the terrain. Swish! Yin Chuan took a step forward and shot off into the distance. A few days later, under a huge waterfall. The waterfall was connected to the Black Dragon pool. In the pool under the waterfall, Yin Chuan was washing himself. Beside him was a little white cat who was paddling in pain. I hate water, I hate it. The little cat shouted angrily. Hate! Look at how dirty your body is. Your whole body is covered in blood. If I didn't help you wash, would you be like this now? Yin Chuan laughed. My whole body is covered in blood. The little white cat looked at herself. Then, she quickly dived into the pool. After a while, she came out with a bang. You actually took a bath with me? And you're so exposed? You public servant, I'll fight it out with you. The little cat pounced on Yin Chuan. Public servant? Yin Chuan's face stiffened. Pa 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 pa. The little white cat rushed in front of Yin Chuan and kept scratching Yin Chuan's body with her little claws. But the little cat was too small. Although she could strangely speak, her strength couldn't cut Yin Chuan's skin at all. I'll fight it out, scratch, scratch. The little cat kept scratching with her claws. It's so comfortable. And scratch below. Yin Chuan enjoyed it. Ayaya. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Kitten said impatiently. Although the kitten was manic, it looked extremely cute and adorable. Even if it was filled with murderous intent, it was impossible to get angry. All right. I'm a human and you're a demon. What does that have to do with anything? Yin Chuan smiled. Humph. Kitten said angrily. By the way, why were you in the coffin that day? In that white tiger's stomach? Yin Chuan asked curiously. That day. The kitten seemed to have forgotten its anger. What happened that day? I don't remember. Kitten shook her head. You don't remember? Yin Chuan was slightly stunned. Of course, why do I remember that when I opened my eyes, I saw you, you big hooligan? Kitten said snappily. Big hooligan? Yin Chuan's face stiffened. I really don't remember. I only remember a few things. I don't seem to remember anything else. The kitten cried. Yin Chuan. Then why did you bite me? What's that clan contract? Yin Chuan frowned. I don't know. It was an instinctive reaction. What's the use of that clan contract? Kitten asked curiously. Yin Chuan was speechless. He rolled his eyes and didn't know what to say. By the way, do you have a name? Yin Chuan asked. Let me think. I think I have some memory. I think I'm called Meow. Kitten thought and said. Meow. It's indeed a kitten's name. Yin Chuan nodded. I'm not a cat. I'm a tiger. The king of all beasts. I'm a tiger. Kitten snorted. A tiger? You. Yin Chuan didn't believe it. Kitten didn't even have the word king on her head. I'm a tiger. I must be a tiger. Kitten cried. Didn't you say you don't remember anything? I remember this. I forget everything. I definitely can't forget what I am. I'm a tiger. The biggest tiger. Kitten cried proudly. The biggest and biggest tiger? Looking at the palm-sized kitten acting cute, Yin Chuan didn't know if he should discourage her. Chapter 333. I remember this. I've forgotten everything, but I can't forget who I am. I'm a tiger, the biggest tiger. The kitten exclaimed proudly. The biggest and biggest tiger? Looking at the palm-sized kitten acting cute, Yin Chuan didn't know if he should discourage her. All right, tiger. Then what's up with the little felt hat on your head? You don't even want to take it off when you're washing your body. Let me see. Yin Chuan asked curiously. This is my baby, don't even think about it. The kitten exclaimed. She looked nervous. Yin Chuan was just casually saying that. How could he snatch the hat from a kitten? Yin Chuan was about to say something when his face suddenly turned serious. Someone's coming. Peng. Carrying Meow, he jumped out of the water. Ah, hooligan, what are you doing? The kitten exclaimed. Throwing the kitten onto a large rock, Yin Chuan quickly put on his clothes. As Yin Chuan was wearing his clothes behind a large rock, no one noticed Yin Chuan. Xiao. A figure landed at the edge of the lake. It was Dongfang Zhengpai. Sigh. Standing at the edge of the lake, Dongfang Zhengpai had a look of pity. My protective talisman, Dongfang Zhengpai said sadly. Who's there? Dongfang Zhengpai suddenly sensed someone. Yin Chuan walked out slowly. Dongfang Zhengpai rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Dongfang Zhengpai, we meet again. Why are you here? Brother Yin, you're not dead? You're not dead. Fuck, you're still alive? Dongfang Zhengpai exclaimed. Do you wish for me to die? Yin Chuan laughed. No, how could I? As long as you're alive, that's great. Dongfang Zhengpai jumped over and laughed. He looked at Yin Chuan, as if he was looking at a treasure, causing Yin Chuan to feel uncomfortable. In the eyes of Dongfang Zhengpai, Yin Chuan is a protective talisman. As long as Yin Chuan is alive, after 4 years, Yin Chuan will give him a protective talisman. But if Yin Chuan is dead, Yin Chuan, there is no hope. I knew that Brother Yan's luck was as good as the heavens. Ha ha ha. Dongfang Zhengpai laughed happily. I'm asking you, why are you here? Yin Chuan is. Wasn't it you were the one who told me this place is this place? You is you. As he spoke, he flipped his hand and took out a small bamboo scroll. Don't you remember? At that time, Guyu Holy Sun said that those who enter the Zhu Immortal domain will be given an earth-grade cultivation technique. Those who find the entrance will be given a heaven-grade cultivation technique. That day, you were the one who found it. I asked him for it. Here you are. Dongfang Zhengpai laughed. Spear Heart Arts. Yin Chuan took it. That Guyu is really stingy. I asked him for a long time before he gave me this. Spear Heart Arts. Although it's a heaven-grade cultivation technique, you need to practice the spear. I don't practice the spear, so I'll give it to you. Dongfang Zhengpai laughed. All right, thank you very much. Yin Chuan said with satisfaction. You're welcome. As long as you don't die in 4 years, it's enough. Hee. Dongfang Zhengpai is very happy. Don't die in 4 years? Yin Chuan is puzzled. It's fine, it's fine. I'm just saying that I, Dongfang Zhengpai, am a righteous person. This Spear Heart Arts is a reflection of my character. Dongfang Zhengpai said shamelessly. Is Guyu Holy Sun still in the Demon Wind Mountain range? Yin Chuan asked. He left a long time ago. But his men stayed behind to look for a feng shui master in the Demon Wind Mountain range. The reward is a heaven-grade cultivation technique. The Dazhao sacred ground is really rich. Dongfang Zhengpai sighed. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.